minute before we get really started. We'll just talk about some other things in the meantime. But um, first off, welcome to the show tonight, guys. I'm Jared Stacking Surfer. We've got Sean Precious Bullyon here with us, and both of our hair is growing out. His is getting longer. Mine's starting to grow out again, which is good because it was having some issues for a while. But we're excited to be here tonight. We've got an awesome show. We're going to be talking about silver. So I got some silver here. We're going to be talking about platinum, and we got some platinum right there. And then we're also going to be talking about gold. I don't have any gold with me right now. Do you have any gold behind you? All right, we've got a little gold there. So we're going to talk about all three of these. We're going to talk about why is the price going up. We're going to talk about is there going to be a correction, and if there is, how big that's going to be. We're also going to be talking about if now is a good time to be buying, selling, holding. Um, what's going on. It's all the stuff going on in a lot of people's heads, and it's technically a fireside chat because there's a little bit of fire right there. So it's a fireside chat. I'm outside and it's actually cold right now in Southern California. It's only like it's 65 degrees right now, and that's not necessarily that cold, but when we've been in the 80s, it's a little bit colder. And then I've been wearing shorts, so I'm still in my shorts now. So I've got my outdoor fireplace going. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that today. We're going to get Sean's opinions on a lot of things as well. And what I'm hoping to do is help you guys better understand how to navigate the crazy. Okay. Because right now we're in the crazy and it's going to get crazier. And just to reaffirm that there's going to be better days ahead of us and there's going to be worse days ahead of us. Okay. It's going to happen on both ends. And the key is to get prepared. Well, first educate yourself, then get prepared, and then move on with life and enjoy it. Okay. And if you're prepared, you should not have fear. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of those different things. Um, Also, put any question you have for me or Sean. Go ahead and put in all caps if you can on your device. That makes it easier for us to know it's a question. A question mark is also helpful to put
Hey,
down.
Greg.
And we'll do our best to get to you guys on it. We're going vertical today because I want to reach more people. One of the things I started off with this channel, or the reason I started this, is I heard we only have half of 1% of US adults stacking gold and silver. So that doesn't sound like very many people to me. Now, I don't expect we're going to wake everybody up, and I don't expect we're going to do it very fast. And just as a reference point, if we move from 0.5% to 1%, that doubles the demand potentially, right? Um, I've been having a hard time finding silver this week. I had 4 deals fall through. I was able to get a few other deals together, as well as a platinum deal, and a little bit of gold too. So you know, it can be hard to find deals when you're looking for them. And when I say a deal, it's something that's equitable for both parties. Okay, this isn't about trying to take advantage of someone. It's not about having a one-sided trade. Okay, it's about finding the deal that works for you versus just paying full retail somewhere. So if you can help someone sell for more than they can sell to a shop, and you can buy below what a shop would charge you, that's a deal. Okay, just to define it. Um, we're going to talk about all that today too. And then the other thing I want to hit is um, really kind of this concept and idea of where are things going, and are we going to get to a point where there's 10% or 20 or 50% of the country, the adults in the U.S. that want gold and silver? There's not enough to go around for everybody um, at today's prices. There is enough if the prices are way higher. Okay, and that's something people kind of forget. I hear a lot of people say, like even Tim will say this on Yankees because he said it when I was there last week. And we'll do a shout out to Tim and Yankee real quick. There's Tim, and there's Yankee on that side. But when I was there last week, Tim was basically saying that we can't have gold become the money again because there's not enough gold to go around. It's all relative, right? Gold was something that was pretty expensive. It wasn't something that people just had in their pocket walking around every day, even in 1920. It was something that you used to maybe go buy a carriage or buy a horse or a house. So, if gold was sitting at 100 or $200,000 an ounce, I'm guessing there's probably enough to use it as money. At near $4,000, probably not enough. So anyway, we're going to talk about that. So I'm gonna stop talking for a second. I want you, Sean, to say hi to everybody and tell us about. Here's what I'd like to hear from you, Sean, real quick. Why
Yeah.
do you stack, and what do you like to stack?
Well, hello everybody. Thank you all for being here, all 21 of you guys, and growing. 21 strong and growing for all you Gen X people that know where I come from.
Oh, and real quick,
Mine,
Sean, if you guys double tap the screen, that will do the thumbs up. It's a little
dang
harder
it,
on this format.
thumb,
Double tap it.
all the thumbs you can put on there is the great because it just spreads. Oh, we went from 21 to 29. We just had a 30% increase because you guys did it. It's you all, it's the community. The community makes it happen. It's not you and I, it's the community. We're just grains of staying here. I just want to give a quick shout out to Craig, Shelby Craig, bro, for being monitoring with this whole thing. I see you. I can see the chat for the first time. Praise Jesus. I can see the chat, so I can see what you all are saying, so I can not feel like I'm just annoying, just avoiding you all in conversation. I can see everybody. Hello, who all's here? My name's Sean. I go SPB is my channel, or Sean's Precious Bullyon. SPB is also actually my actual government issued ID initials and stuff. Anyway, uh, why I stack? For a few reasons. Number one, it's kind of the journey started back for me in 2011. I was a server at a restaurant locally here. I built up a nice regulars, if you will, that kind of just liked me for who I was. I'm always a real person. I've always, took ownership when things were wrong. People appreciated that in the restaurant industry. They left generous tips, and I always appreciated that and returned that with my time and attention to people and realizing not just dollar figures. They're real people that feel real things just like I do and just like you do and stuff. So do unto others as you do unto yourself is something I kind of wanted to do in the service industry. And one of those customers happened to be husband and wife that owned a law firm here in the state of Maryland. And they turned me on to the idea of silver and just it being kind of a thing to kind of, invest, stack, what put your money in, whatever. It's real, and I had no idea about any of it, but I took the advice from somebody in that I cared about and who I knew that care about me. So when they told me something, I didn't just take it as a BS conversation and thought nothing of it and just carried on with my day. I took it to heart, and someone actually took the time actually to tell me something that would benefit me. I mean, who does that anymore? Who does that in period? Everyone wants to benefit themselves. So if someone willing to give information for free and say, hey, look, it's not going to benefit me, it's just going to benefit you, it's priceless. So I took
Yep.
upon his word. So I went to the local coin shop that he recommended to me. Um, I won't say who they are because I haven't worked a deal with them yet. I'll just say they're in Maryland. They're one of the largest companies this side of the Mississippi River, and that's what I'll leave at that. So if someone from that awesome company happens to see that, I love you guys and appreciate what you've done ever since 2011, since I walked into your shop the first time. Back then, I want to say silver was probably at $30 an ounce. I walked in there, had no idea what I was doing. The guy kind of just let me kind of play around the counter, took out a box of like 1 ounce silver bars and kind of just junk bars, whatever, all toned up and just they're not pamped, they're
It
not
has
anything
to.
really.
Yeah.
Whatever. All your local coin shops usually have a box where it's like 1 ounce silver rounds and bars and it just whatever. So bargain bin, went there. I picked out 3 ounces of silver and I said, okay, what are you, like $90 and change? He said, just give me $60. I said, you do realize that I did buy 3 ounces of silver from you? And he's like, yeah, I'm giving you an ounce for free just for stepping in here because I know you're going to come back and keep doing this. Ever since then, that was sold. The community that I was introduced just wowed me and commenced immensely as far as the reciprocation of information and reciprocation of just love and caring is what really drew me into the whole idea of stacking first itself. Um, the next part became the actual metal itself. It just shiny little metal. It's like, what is this thing? I don't. It's round. It's square. It's dug out of the earth. I've always heard about gold and silver. It's in video games. It's in movies. It's in comic books. It's you've always heard about it. It's in whether if you believe in him or not. It's been around since Christ walked this earth. So we've always known about it, but we really didn't know about it. And what I mean by that is the what it actually gold and silver is actually represented not only in for this country as far as the Constitution says, but it's just far as just a means to an end, if you will. And when I started looking into what gold and silver was, as far as Article 1, Section 10, the Constitution says it must be our money must be constitutionally made. Um, and just the fact that it's always been something that I've always seen a market that's always gone up and to the right. There's always been ups and dips and stuff like that. And there's the stock market. So I've known about markets, and but it's the difference about it to me was the fact that I could hold this. I can't go to Wall Street, walk in there like trading places and be like orange crop at 150 and start actually grabbing the orange crop
You
and
can't
taking it
even
back
really
with
get
me.
your paper stock
I can't even
certificates
get my
anymore.
foot even through the front door. The security would take me and put me in handcuffs for trying to walk in there, first of all, without a trader's license or any license, the licenses you say you need, because us as a real man, a common man, as far as common law says, they don't. Anyway, that's a different topic for a different conversation. Um, I can't go to Wall Street and take out and physically hold what I want to invest in. It's the zeros and ones on a computer screen that's dependent on energy and the human factor. Whereas if I take this and put this in my possession and store it somewhere in the ground, a safe somewhere on my back of my desk here or whatever, it's always going to be in my possession. It can't be turned off with the power. Like, winter storms happen, your power goes out, you don't have access to your money. If banks' power goes out because of a winter storm, you don't have access to your money. Your money's stuck in that machine, and basically, unless you stored some to the side. But having this is actually real money. I can take this and get cash for it and stuff like that. So to me, the money represents to me a few things. I mean, sorry, well, it is money, but the gold and silver and the platinum represents a few things to me. Number one, it's wealth insurance. It's basically taking your money that you've worked hard for your entire life or however long you've been working for and storing it into a means where it's not going to be taken from you by the human factor, if you will. Granted, there is markets attached to this stuff too, but it's less likely risk. It's more of it's real assets. Gold's a tier one asset. It's the only global
Mhm.
tier one asset. Number two, it's a form of savings in a way of it kind of takes the whole hunter gatherer that we normally have as us as human beings into a fact that we like us as stackers like to go out, purchase this stuff, and gather it and put it away for a rainy day, like we're the little squirrel stashes, if you will. It's a means of also of access to money at any given time. If something happens, let's say my car breaks down and I need $10,000 and I don't have it, chances of a bank giving me a loan is I got to fight through paperwork and stuff like that. And every day I don't have my car, I'm losing money. Whereas I can take that precious metals to take it to a coin shop, get instant cash, and get my car back on the road. So it's accessibility, it's power in itself too. Um, it's also, I mean, it's so many things, dude. But to me, it's not everything. It's not my God. It's not even like my end all and end all of life or why I'm here. It's just it's part of the mindset that I have personally adapted to where I have no problem putting money into this and feeling having any kind of buyer's remorse at any given time. A
So,
lot of
so
people
Sean,
complain about. Go ahead.
looking at that, kind of a comment on that too is, I've got these AirPods in, right? Um, Supposedly they're not great for your hearing, or not your
They're not.
hearing, but your brain in between your
They're
head.
not. I know.
Um, so I wouldn't be listening to music all day long in these things, but it's a tool,
Mhm.
and it's a great tool to use if you're on an airplane and the noise is too loud and you want to do noise canceling. It's a great tool if you're in a noisy area, or say by the ocean and you need to make a phone call. I still think this is better than putting the phone up to your head, but it's not as good as doing like speaker on it. But if speaker doesn't work, I can use these. To me, silver, gold, platinum are tools. They're just like this is a tool, right? And these glasses are a tool. They help you do something and they help you accomplish it. The one difference with the silver and the gold and platinum is that this tool doesn't necessarily accomplish a task per se as much as it allows you to get into other tools. And so for me, I really don't see buying gold, silver, and platinum as actually buying them. I see a conversion of fiat dollars over to, you know, sound money or precious metals. And so for me, it's a different form I'm putting it into. And so it's taking me some time, but I'm less worried about the price I'm moving it into, and I'm more worried about having it and having more of it because I do know it's going to get more scarce. And like we talked about a second ago, if we go from like 0.5% to 1% of the people, the adults in the country are stacking,
Mhm.
it's going to take, you're not going to be able to find product. You're going to have to order it. And if we go from 1% to 2%, then you're going to have to wait 3 to 6 months, maybe even a year. And we go from 2% to 4%. I don't know what's going to happen because it hasn't happened in our lifetimes. And so, you know, if we ever get to like a 10 or 20%, um, the amount of time it takes to get the metals is going to be so long and so hard that the price will be forced to go up because people will want
Supply
to
and
pay
demand.
more. It'll be
Mhm.
supply and demand. And even though we don't really affect things at the retail level very much, the big guys won't be able to get their hands on it either. And so they'll be trying to call up the local coin shops or even the big bullion dealers, and they'll take what they can. And those dealers are going to say, "Well, I'm not going to sell it to you unless you buy more." So the premiums are going to go skyrocketing up at some point
Oh,
again.
yeah.
But when we're there, what you might find is people that be more available. It's just the price is going to be insanely high, and at some point you'll have to make that decision. When silver's sitting at $300, when it's sitting at $500, when it's sitting at $1,000, maybe even $5,000. Okay, do you sell it or do you hold on to it? And to me, it's just a tool. So it's not really about selling it. It's the only time you would actually move it into dollars is if you have something else to use those dollars for to buy, you know, so you just move it around. But Sean, what I wanted to do real quick too is just a quick shout out to everybody. I think you got a few of them, but I wanted to say hi to Time Lapse and Chris Ashby, Sorcerer Stan, welcome. Server Spurs, welcome, and let's see who else we got in here. Alexander Persons. Um, let's
I
see,
actually in the comments saw my dad and Lisa in there baking. So I wanted to say hi to you guys and thanks for coming on. Love you
Greg in
guys
here
for being here.
too. Welcome, John. Welcome,
All you guys.
Frank.
Appreciate that. Yeah, the comments like pop up and then they disappear. They're like there they are. I guess every time something pops up a
Yeah,
comment, then it fades away into existence. But
we'll
yeah,
do our
thank you
best to
guys for
kind of hit
being
you
here.
guys.
Yeah,
So
ADHD
Sean,
definitely approved.
you got called you're a combination of Jesus and Jordan Peterson. So that's funny.
Well,
Um,
I try to be like him, but I will never be like him. There only will be one. So, but to walk like him, Yahweh is the way. I say, I got
that
to
is the
figure
way.
stuff behind. But I appreciate
Hi
that. Yeah, I
to
kind of like
Chech,
Jesus and James Conrad from disc golfing. Yeah,
and also JF Enterprise. Let's see who else we got in here. And then Fremont House. So if you guys can hit double tap your screen, that'll do a thumbs up, and more people will see this. Um, and then the other thing I'm going to throw out to you guys too, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. Um, I I wasn't able to get a link to yours fast enough, Sean.
it's
So
all good.
if you
It's all
guys look
good.
for Sean Precious Bullyon, spelled with a Y,
Hmm.
it should pull up. But I afterwards, when we're done, I'll go put his link in here so that you guys can go to it. Mods, if you find the link, go ahead and put it in the chat for people. But
Appreciate that.
subscribing lets you guys, it'll show up in your feeds. If you hit the bell icon, you have the ability to have just
Dynamic duo.
videos, shorts, or everything. And if it ever gets too annoying, my recommendation is to turn the bell off instead of unsubscribing. But that's how you find out about these things popping up and other stuff like
Thanks,
that.
Craig.
Sometimes we just have to squeeze things in, and that's going to be kind of my life for the next 6 months. Is it's going to be squeezing things in where I can.
Squeeze
I'm
in the
not really
juice.
going to have I'm not going to really have a regular schedule of getting videos out or live streams, so we'll do our best. Now today is Friday, and I said on Tuesday when we did the Andy live that if we got to 100 likes before it was over, that we would do silver. Now I saw that it got to 99 by the time I canceled it and ended out on it. So here's what we're gonna do. Um, And I know as soon as it hit like 100, a few minutes later, Joseph Lopez came out of nowhere and he's like, "Hey, I want free silver." So what I want to do is you guys help us get to 50 thumbs up today, and we'll do a silver giveaway. Okay. If we get close to it, maybe we'll do one too. But let's get to
This is
50, and
this
I'll do a
this
cool
is
silver
this
giveaway for you
this
guys.
this is me doing interpretation of all the legs in the screen just keep popping up and it's floating up in the air. Just ping,
It does totally. So
ping.
couple things coming up on the channel, Sean. That's going to be cool soon. Um, I contacted Specters, and they sent me a really cool coin, a 2-ounce coin that I'm going to be doing a video on. And you know, it's not a brand new coin, but I'm going to have a new spin on this thing, and I'm going to see if I can do something really fun with it. And that probably won't be in the first video, but maybe in a follow up video. But when I go to put that video out, guys, it'll be fun. It's they make I would say they make the coolest coins. They make coins that are in great shapes. They make coins that are based on something historical. Um, but I was looking at their stuff, and their shaped coins looked really cool to me, and I kind of discounted their I guess rounds versus like a shape, right? But
Mhm.
they're all actually coins because they are sovereign. Anyway, the ones that look more like a regular coin, like look like this, that are 2 ounces, the amount of detail that was on them blew me away. I saw one over at OC Stacker's house, and I was like, "Holy moly, that thing is insane!" So we
Yeah,
will
that's
do
good
that.
stuff.
It's going to be fun. I also have another video that's going to be coming up about the Mayflower.
Ooh,
So I had a chance to meet up with Silver Heist and his wife, and have took them to lunch, and we did a little coin exchange, and got to go hang out in Plymouth, and that was fun. And I'll probably throw a few little video, uh, things of Boston in there as well. But those are going to be coming out. That's going to be pretty fun. In addition to that, we'll have more live streams, all of that. Um, and I'm going to do my best to bring Sean on and OC Stacker on from time to time. If any of you guys want to be on, so Chet Stacker, um, I'm trying to think who else does videos that's on here right now. That you might be the only one that's on here. But if you ever want to be on, or anybody else does, let me know. I started off wanting to do three things with this channel. One is I wanted to educate people and get more people into stacking that haven't thought of it before, because I do think this is going to save people in the long run. Number two, I wanted to help them do it the right way and not go and spend. It's fun to get a coin like this, but don't go and spend like a 20-30% premium on it. You know, um, if you can get them for the right price, great. But if you're gonna, I was gonna say a $50 coin, but that's you can't even get an eagle for $50 anymore.
yeah. Welcome to
Um,
what I thought was going to happen 2 years ago. Yeah,
yeah, but don't go pay 10, 15, $20 more than you would an eagle for a coin like that, unless it's a coin you love and you have to have. And definitely don't go get like 50 of those, right? Go get some silver rounds. So I wanted to do that was my second thing. My third thing that I really wanted to do with this channel is I wanted to help build a community. I wanted to get to know more people. I wanted to be a part of that. And the funny thing, and then we'll get on to some of the predictions here, guys, and talk more about the metals. The funny thing is I still have not made profits technically from the channel yet. I think I'm just about to break even after 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years. And a lot of that has to do with doing massive amounts of gauze, giving away a lot of silver. And then I last year had an editor helping with some other things too, and editors are not inexpensive. And I also prepaid for a website that's still not done because I just haven't gotten to it yet. But to me, it's not about trying to make a huge amount of money off this thing, right? That's not the key. The key is helping build a community. Where I've had the benefit from having this channel is I've met a lot of you where I've had the opportunity um, to be able to find some great deals where I can buy below retail, and I can help people sell above what they would sell to retail for, and that's been awesome. And so, if I look at that net, then yes, there's some huge benefit. And the great benefit about doing something like that is, until you sell it, it's not taxable. It's not a taxable event, and so you get to kind of store even more wealth and do things like that, which is cool. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do, Sean, and I'm going to ask you the questions on this first. So for all of
okay.
you out there, here's the first question I have for you guys. Um, if we go to December 31st, 2025, what's the price that you think gold's going to be at? what's the price you think silver is going to be at, and what's the price that you think platinum is going to be at. And I want to give you guys a couple seconds to a minute here to put that in the comments down below. Um, but if you want, you could just put a number next to G, a number next to S, and a number next to P. That'll make it a little faster for you typing. But I want to see what you guys' thoughts are on here first before we influence it, is what I want to do. Um, but I'm curious to see what you guys think in this because there's a lot of different thoughts out there. I was on Twitter or X last night, Sean. Actually, the last 2 days. Um, sorry, I got to turn this fire down. It's going to catch my leg on fire.
Yeah, it'll burn yourself on live television. That'd be one of the greatest shorts to get millions of views, and your channel will explode to 2 million
All right, here we
viewers,
go. Ah!
subscribers.
Go to the fireplace.
Yeah, my
Okay,
hair
so
would just roast up too.
yeah, dude, I don't know. I might have flammable stuff in here. So on X, there's two guys that were posting that we're going down to $15 silver, and you better hurry and sell at the
Yeesh.
top. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure that $15 silver is like right at break even or below for mining silver today with all the inflation we've had. Um, I think that if that were to happen, you would first off, if silver goes to 15, copper's going down. In my opinion, I could be wrong, and so would be gold if it's going down that much. And so you would have the miners would have a massive problem. They'd have to decide if they're going to keep mining or not. And depending on how long it stayed down there, they may shut their mines down. The other issue you're going to run into at 15, if this were to happen, is a lot of people would go out and buy. So the only way I really see things going down to 15 is if we have a massive 1929 stock market crash of like 90%, and and that causes a lot of people to have to cover shorts and pay the bank, and maybe they've got gold and silver and they start flooding the market with it. Outside of that, it's really hard to see a situation where we have silver go down to 15. Um, it's kind of like saying that we're going to see gold go down to $1,500. That's just it, Sean, is I think we're kind of in one of these situations where what we're really going to see is uh, a massive test at 4,000 for gold and 50 for silver. And I would kind of argue maybe 2,000 for platinum is kind of the big test. And that's where we're going to see things, and it's going to determine whether we have um, does it get close and the slams come out and Mr. Slammy comes out and they shoot it down? Or do we see them pass it and people go, oh my gosh, I need to hurry and buy. It's not slowing down, and we see it explode. But before we get to your answer on that, Sean, I just want to see some of the answers we got from the crowd here.
Yeah, I was
So
reading some of the comments in the
yeah,
answers
I'm
what
just
you were
going back
talking.
up here. So we've got Amy. Um,
Hey,
Amy
Amy.
thinks platinum's going to hit 15. Gold 4,000 and silver 2,000 by the end of the year, or 200 by the end of the year. That's a pretty good move for silver there, by the way. Um, okay, we've got um, yes, hypersonic. I like to surf as much as I can. It is fun to do it. Okay, we've got 4,000 from Craig, silver 50. Okay, that was my call for. Actually, my call. I think I said $4,000 silver and $40 silver and 4,000 gold. So we've already beat that. Brett has silver at 69, gold at 4,200, and platinum at 1850. Beaver Stacker, welcome. Gold at 4,100 and silver at 52. Jay, if I buy a $50 gold coin, can I claim a $3,800 loss? No, but if you have a business and the business buys it and it's
Talking about.
considered inventory to your business, you could technically um, have that be inventory, which would then be a business expense. Here's the catch, though: if you go to sell that, there is no basis. Your basis is zero, and you'll be paying taxes on the full amount of money that you sell it for. On the flip side, if you buy it personally and you sell it to the business and the business sells it, your basis would be $3,800. I'm not an accountant. I can't give you financial advice. I can't even give you accounting advice, but I have heard that kind of information. I would recommend that you talk to a CPA to confirm that. And it can be tricky. The other thing is when you try to go to sell things like this, especially on eBay, if you don't have a store, it's going to cost you 13%. If you do have a store, you can get it down closer to 8 to 6%. Um, there's going to be expenses that come into it. And if you're planning on replacing it, you have to take all your fees into account. You have to see what you can get the replacement for. And so here's the issue: you buy it for $3,800, you sell it for 4,000, you pay $150 in fees, you pay another $10 to ship it, and you have a little bit amount that you have to pay taxes on. And if you can't rebuy for $3,800, you're upside down. So you got to be very careful when you're doing this. This can be a very tricky business, especially when it's moving up drastically or it's moving down drastically in that formation. So just go do your homework on that stuff. If you guys haven't done so already, double tap the screen for the thumbs up. Okay, Greg Olson's got gold at 4,000, silver at 56, and platinum at 1920. So he sees silver and platinum kind of spiking quite a bit more than gold, and gold slowing down. Um,
I like
Rob's
that.
using 20% of his paycheck to since his first job and stacking, and now he owns a bit his own business. That's awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Silver should be slammed 25%. Okay, yes, we're going to talk about shoulds, maybes, and reality. Okay, we're going to hit all three. Daniel talks about 4,500 gold, 100-ish silver, and 1,800 platinum. We've got double tap, gold at 4,150, silver at 4,895. That is very specific. 4,895. What happens if it's 4,894?
I like it.
We got 1680 on platinum, and we've got Amy's asking about Basel 3 and Genius Act. We can hit about that too. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you kind of my thoughts on them.
Awesome.
Jay says platinum going to explode higher in his opinion,
Mhm.
or hers opinion. I'm guessing it's a guy, but I don't know. Um, let's see. Big beautiful inflation is coming. Yeah, we'll talk about
I
that.
like
If
it.
so, Sean, remind me as we're going. Like, we should talk about the second wave of inflation. They come in threes. The first one
Everything comes in
concluded,
threes.
and now we're getting ready for the second wave. I think the third wave, in my opinion, is going to be probably around 2028, 29, going into 2030 is probably the third wave.
Mhm.
All right. Do we have anybody else in here? I think that's all the answers we got. Okay, so Jeff Tooley Tiger, welcome and to the stream, and also thank you for being a poser for 18 months. There's nothing like being a poser for 18 months. I just had to call these fun names, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe people don't want to sign up because they're like, hey, I don't want to be a poser. So maybe you guys don't even know what a poser is. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe you should
Sean.
tell them what. Maybe you should tell them what that is, so they don't think that you're insulting somebody. Posers, one of the names of his tiers of his membership groups. It's nothing. It's not an
Yeah.
insult. We
No,
don't need
it's not
anybody
an
getting
insult.
canceled. We don't need to go from 49 to 9 viewers is all of a sudden. No, it's not like that. I'm
So
gonna
when
yeah,
you
just
when you have a channel, you can
watch
start
it. You're gonna get people
memberships
thought about.
and you can call them different things. So I think I've got one that's called uh I think we have a kook, okay? And a poser's another name, and then I
They're
think
like
we have a
90s
grom.
references, basically, for
They
anybody who doesn't get it. We're all Gen
they
X
are.
people here. Yeah, we're Gen Xers, so we're 90 references. The people who are born millennials are like, "What are you talking about?" If it's not a 3DS, I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. It's not
So
nickel,
a
it's
so a
not
grom is a
Roblox. I
little
don't know
kid
what it is.
surfer. Okay, a grom's like the kid that's 6 years old that goes out on a surfboard and kicks your
Wow.
butt. Okay, that's a grom. They take it super serious. You look at them out there, and you're like, "Holy moly, how's that kid so flexible, and how can they do all that stuff?" Um, getting hot from this fire. A poser is someone that pretends or tries really hard um, to be
It's not
like
in the
a
right
pro,
place most of
and
the
they
time,
don't have
yeah.
the experience yet. Okay, kook. I have to go back and see the definition of kook. Um, but to me, kook's like someone that's just kind of crazy that like could kill themselves out there.
Here's
And then
my
I
kook.
forget what the other. There you go. There's a real kook, and I
Kookaburra.
forget the other levels we had on there. But those are surfing terms. I don't know. You guys let me know if they're stupid and You know, they hurt
Never
people.
cool.
But Sean, this is what I want to do. So I've got my numbers in my head. What are your numbers? What do you think we're going to see gold, silver, and platinum on December 31st at the end of the day?
So on the New Year's when they're dropping the ball 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and millions of dollars in cleanup cost of our tax money happens in New York City, I think that the price of silver is going to be around $60. I think gold is going to be around 4,400, and I think platinum is going to be around anywhere between 2,000 to $2,200. That's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have the crystal ball like Merlin to look into like the Lord of the Rings and look into the eye of Sauron and like, here's the price. Tell everybody. I don't have that power. Sorry, but I'm just following the breadcrumbs, looking at, like you said, the waves. The tidal waves are coming in up and to the right, and the fact that things are still moving when the government's still shut down, it's going to be a while. These people in office and people running things are at lost their damn mind, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think
I
we
don't
got
want to
some
go.
wild times ahead of us.
I don't want to go on a soapbox in your channel. I promise myself I wouldn't do that stuff and get you canceled and stuff, or get us targeted. But um, I think that people need to be in a mindset right now. They need to be in like you said, an awakening mindset. I think if 2020 didn't tell everybody what's really going on, what's really coming down the pipeline, I think people really missed the bus. And the bus is like way down in the next state, and you're still walking back there. Um, a lot of things happened, and that personally, well, one thing for me personally, I'll just say it. One thing personally to me that really woke me up. I mean, I kind of knew things were kind of headed this way, but the thing that really quick, you know, snapped in my head, the light bulb went on, the aha moment, if you will, was when they told everybody during COVID lockup that you would get arrested for going out and praising the Holy Spirit, but you could freely go out and buy your own spirits in the store. Um, that's when I knew things were that's there's no more defending the system. There's no more defending any of this. There's no more trying to just look the other way and really just deny what's in front of your face. It's time to get serious. Because there's things that are happening around us that are going to directly affect us. And then there's, you can't stop a lot of this stuff, but there's a way to have like, insurances, if you will, or kind of safety nets to kind of put around yourself. So that way, stuff like stacking, platinum and gold and stuff like that, be able to have that as a commodity in your life, be able to maneuver through these, inflation you talk about, these crazy times. I mean, I was shouting everybody back on the 4th of July in 2023. I was kind of like, if you go into my video and you guys that take the time to actually go and subscribe and watch any of my videos, and I apologize, I don't have a whole lot of silver stuff and gold stuff on my channel yet. I'm still kind of working through the thing. I kind of did a lot of like stuff with fireworks and growing stuff outside, but there's a little silver there. But in the 2023 4th of July, right before I lit the grand finale, I started shouting at everybody like, well, Sean Paul Revere, basically. I was like, go buy gold and silver. Trust me, the bricks are coming. The bricks are coming. And if everybody would have actually took my advice, they would have doubled their money by now. That they would have just said, you know what, I'll liquefy my whole 401k, pay whatever 10% penalty, because you would have doubled your money. You would have had a 401k, and that would have been an 802k.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a little high. The penalty is a little higher than that, but
I get it,
so
but I guess there's certain things that states. So I guess there's
but
certain ways
if you
around it,
don't
but
hold it, if
you
you
don't
don't
own it.
hold it, who does?
They do. They own it.
Yeah.
And they can tell you when you can have it and how much that you can have of it and how much that you got to pay or how long you got to wait for it. I mean, that's also one thing about also like with precious metals that I think a lot of people don't realize. And again, I don't advocate trying to screw the system over and try to get over on the man, and because it's just going to create complications. But there is a way actually that I think a lot of people don't realize that. Well, I mean, they do realize this, but here's something that I want to give a piece of advice to some people that maybe they haven't thought about this in the stacking journey, or people who haven't started stacking yet and curious about it. We're all not going to make it out of here. Unfortunately, we all don't have we don't live forever. It's one thing we don't like to talk about. It's things I deal with personally about that topic and stuff, and I've been working through it. But eventually when we do pass on, all of our inheritance it gets moved over to people that's in our will, whatever. I recently went through a couple years ago, went through my grandmother's inheritance, and I really wish she was still here. But with the directors of the will basically advocating every day on it and trying to basically close the estate down. It took 9 months. And that was with aggressive emails every day, calling the law firm, staying on top of the courts. And this is someone that would,
It went to probate, right?
yeah, this is the person that I won't say who it was, but someone in the family took care of it. And she really worked her ass off really to make sure that they got taken care of and make sure that really people got their money when they needed it. And with that dedication, I mean, she was doing more than the lawyers were doing. I mean, she was basically doing the lawyer's job for them, basically, and just submitting paperwork for them and just they just needed their signature. But it took 9 months. And where I'm going with this conversation is basically is a normal estate takes anybody where from a year to 2 years to get any money from it. Your family could be struggling during that time. They need that money that could happen. Whereas, during the course of your celebration of life toward the end of your life, you could literally hand this or a bunch of this stuff to your family members and no one would know about it. You just could literally throw a bunch of money into them and says, look, be smart with this, take it. When you need money, go sell it off. There's no paperwork involved. There's no waiting for lawyers and courts to tell you when you have the money. The money's there. You just take it and just slowly sell it off here and there. That's also another power you have also with precious metals, that you're able to literally hand liquid money to your family at the time of your passing, and they don't have to wait a year or two to get it.
Yep.
That's just one thing I wanted to throw out that maybe people haven't thought about. They have thought about. They don't talk about it. But again, I like talking about things that people don't like to talk about, either because it's
So
edgy or
Sean,
educational. You know.
what I would throw out there is everyone that's listening to this right now, if you don't have these two things, I recommend you start researching them and you get them set up. One is a living will. Okay. That's your
Yeah,
wishes. If
Greg knows.
something were to happen to you, like you end up in the hospital and you're paralyzed, not paralyzed, in a coma, or you can no longer talk, it has instructions of what to do while you're still living. That's why it's called a living will. It also has, excuse me, your wishes upon your demise.
Hmm.
The second thing is to get a trust. Okay, and these trusts are going to most likely just be a revocable trust, and which means that you can put things in the trust and you can take them right back out. There's real no tax benefits to it. There's a little bit of protection to it, a little bit, I say, not necessarily a ton of protection, but there's a little bit there. Um, and the other thing that comes with those is it's something that allows you to bypass probate. What Sean's describing is probate. And so if you have a living will and you have a trust and your assets are tied into the trust, then which is as simple as asking your bank to make the trust the beneficiary, your life insurance policy the beneficiary, your 401k, your IRA the beneficiary. Now, when you come to gold and silver, if that's something you're holding in a safe in your house, that's really going to come out of your living will. Like you should put in there, like, do your kids get an equal amount among themselves? Or are you going to give it to your favorite kid? You all have a favorite kid. I know it. Just kidding. So you have to put things like that. Are you going to give it to your niece and nephew, or do you want to have it all go to a university or a church? Right. Those are things you can put in there. But if you have a trust, it's very simple when you die because everything's already set up. You just contact the banks and you have things moved. People have the ability to come in as the um, beneficiary and they can take stuff.
Hmm.
Now, I haven't had to deal with that, so I'm probably oversimplifying it. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I'm not an attorney. But I come from a very wealthy family, and we've had to deal with a lot of this stuff. Now, my family got decimated in 2008, and we were a banking family, so I know a lot about this stuff because we've had to go through and protect things. When I was a kid, my parents were the FBI came to them and told them your kids could be taken from you guys because of the family status and everything. So, my parents had to watch us kind of closely and things like that. Um, I don't have so much of that problem now, except that I show my face, and some people probably have a good idea of, like, I might be making a video on the beach, so I'm always a little cautious of making sure no one's following me home. But you know, I don't worry about it all the time because I put things in place. And so if I'm traveling and my airplane crashes and I die, I know everything's in the set up right now. One thing I would recommend to everybody is wherever you store your precious metals, it's always good to have a business card or a letter giving information to other people that may not know stacking as well as you do on where to sell things, okay, or what to do with this. Your instructions, it can be in your living will. It can also be just a note you put in there. And so I would recommend at least finding a couple good coin shops, whether it's online bullion dealers or local coin shops that you trust, at least two, if not three, that you can put the information in there. So if something happens to you, people know what to do. The last thing you want is your relatives taking all of this stuff to the pawn shop. Um, I just picked up some silver recently, Sean, and I noticed a whole tube of it is Engelhard prospectors.
Nice.
BU mirror like finish, basically proof like.
Winning.
And I paid the same price I would for some gnarly silver. Okay. Um, so I got a great deal on it, and it was a couple different tubes, and stuff is, there's different kinds of stuff that's in there. And so anyway, um, that should have gone for a premium. Okay, that should have gone for a higher premium, or at least someone could have gotten a much higher premium for that on eBay.
Mhm.
If you don't know about these things and you just take it in, they're just going to give you spot minus whatever discount that is at the time, or maybe we'll get to a point where the premiums are so high that they'll give you over spot price for it. But
You're good.
Mrs.
Go ahead.
Surfers,
It's live. Say, she can say
you want to
hi.
come
She don't
say
show her
hi?
face. She can just say hi. Don't show her face.
I
It's
do
all
have a wife, but she hides.
she's part of the community too.
she's
Trust me, she's gonna be happy that you have this gold and silver when everything happens that everyone don't worry,
she will
she's
be
gonna be
very
very
happy, but
happy.
she's also very happy that she doesn't have to hear about coins anymore. She's like, go
There you
make
go.
friends. So
Go make friends. Go
let,
play.
last
Go
thing I'll say
play.
before we ask a question here, Sean. So there are a couple of questions in here, and I wanted to get your take on this too. But
Okay.
um, the mining ratio used to be a lot higher than it is today.
Mhm.
And what I'll tell you guys is, as far as I know, there's not a single silver dedicated mine in the United States. They're all copper mines,
Yeah.
like Kennecott Mine in Utah and a few others, where they find silver veins and then they'll rip those up and they'll mine that. But we don't have a dedicated silver mine. You've got to go to Canada and you've got to go down to Mexico for even more of it. Um, if things get heated enough, and the price of silver really gets discovered for what it is, which I think it's going to be probably closer to $2,000 an ounce. Um, and that could, by the way, that can happen without the inflation going crazy. By the way, guys, like look at Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin's gone from let's just look at this last run. It went from $15,000 up to, I think today it broke a new all-time high at like 122,000. And during that time, we probably had about 30% inflation, maybe a little higher than that. The CPI lie number, right? The CPI CP is showing that we've only had maybe like 10 or 15% inflation, but we all know it's been way higher.
I like how you said CP live instead of CPI. I like how you said
CPI. So I didn't coin that, by the way. Other people say it, but
that's pretty funny.
Bitcoin went up way higher than the percentage gain in Bitcoin was way higher than the percentage gain in inflation. The
Right.
same thing can happen to gold, silver, and platinum. So, it gets me every time I hear people say, "Oh my gosh, if we get to $100 silver, a soft drink is going to be $20." Not necessarily. That is one way it could happen. But if people just decide, "Hey, we need more silver and I want more silver," and people wake up and say, "I'm going to stack this stuff and I'm going to hold on to it, it's real value." You can have $2,000 silver at our current, um, you know, purchasing price of what a dollar does. Okay, so
Mhm.
all of the other things you buy can be the same price, and silver can be 2,000. It is totally possible. Now I'll get back to the mining thing, and then I have a question for you, Sean.
Okay.
So, um, and for everybody else that's in here too. So one of the things that I'll put out, the reason the mining ratio is so low right now, is because we aren't mining silver. Okay, no one's doing that. I did do a mining video, and I know people hate the mining videos when we do them. It is a way to support the channel. If I had 300 people or 500 people that were supporting the channel by paying a little bit every month, we wouldn't have to do the mining videos. But every once in a while, we need to do that to pay for camera equipment and other stuff. the last one I did it on was a dedicated silver mine that I think is in Argentina that's opening up. Um, and that could be a great stock to invest in. It looks like the numbers look pretty good on it. And it's a dedicated silver mine. There's not very many of those. I guarantee you, once we get over $100 silver, you're going to start to see exploration companies having more money put into them. They're going to start looking for more silver. You're going to see dedicated silver mines start to open. Right now, what I'm hearing is most of the gold miners right now are making a $2,000 profit on top of the cost to bring the gold out. That's why my mining stocks have skyrocketed. I just put a bunch more money into it this week. And so, it's always sad when you do that because I was showing a 210% return on Cool Your Miner. Now it's only 75% because I put more money in and I didn't have a ton put in there to begin with. But it was really cool to see the 200% return. But
Heck
anyway,
yeah.
they're making a ton of money off of that. At some point, the silver miners will start to do the same thing, and so they'll open them up. But keep in mind, it takes 6 years to go from um, starting and exploring all the way to ramping it up, and it can take up to an entire decade to do it. So if it's a mine that they close down, they can spin it up in a couple of years. But these things don't just spin up instantly. And so even if they want to spin up a bunch more silver mines, they won't be able to pull them on before we end this gold and silver bull run. And so it becomes a tricky thing for them. They'll go spin those up, right? And then all of a sudden the desire kind of goes down. Unless this time's different and we have a much longer time period because people finally realize it's money, it's not just a trade, and it's what they want, and the demand is higher. So, so Sean, the question I have for you on this is, when you look at gold, silver, and platinum, you gave the numbers that you just gave a minute ago. Is there Do those numbers dictate or influence how you are stacking? Do they change what you're looking at as far as whether you're deciding to buy some more gold, silver, or platinum? Um, you know, at least with gold and I guess with all of these three metals, on a no matter what your budget is, you can do anywhere from huge bars to 1 ounce coins down to fractional coins. So, if you want to stack all three of these metals, at least right now, I still feel like we still have price points where people can get in. You might have to save up a little bit for it, but I don't think anything's gotten to a point yet where it's unobtainium. When a 10th ounce of gold is trading for $2,000, and if we have the same purchasing power, then it's going to be unobtainium for a lot of people. But right now, it's not there. How do those numbers going into the end of the year influence like your stacking?
It doesn't. Let me tell you why. Because I'm going to go repeat. I'm going to stick on to what I've always kind of said, that the price is irrelevant. At this point, the price doesn't matter, because if you're stacking for the long run, like you should be, doesn't matter. This should be anticipated. As you stack, as you get older, as your stack gets bigger, it's just going to cost more. Things are just going to get less. And like I said before, if you have a budget, it just means that there's a little bit of less you can get. Think of it as like, here's how I'm going to kind of equate it to. It's like you get a bunch of squirrels out there in the fall time trying to get a bunch of acorns and whatever and stack up, and there's plenty of them around, right? That's kind of like when the price is kind of low, you're kind of still doing it. But when there's a winter time, there's not a whole lot out there. So when you don't have a whole lot, you could only gather so much. But you're still in a hunter gatherer mode, right? As long as you keep on your budget and you keep going, don't be worried about, oh, I used to be able to get 1 ounce of gold, now and I can only get a 1/4 ounce or a 1/10 ounce, or used to be able to go buy 10 ounce bars, now I can only buy 1 ounce. It doesn't matter. The fact that you're still stacking is like Surfer said, you're part of the probably less than 1% of all of adults in the United States even putting this stuff in their portfolio. The fact that you're still doing it should be enough of a, how should I take this, a mental reward for yourself to know that you're doing right. If you can't get as much as you used to do, that's fine. This is what it is. Now, if you're coming in some money, like you have an inheritance you got, or you placed a bet on one of the sports book online that it's legal in your state and you won a bunch of money. Like put some of that money, get granted. You get something like that, or a bonus at your job, or you found a $20 bill on the street while walking, like whatever however you get extra money, then you can just put it into your stacking. But when you stay on
Or it
that
could be
mindset,
GAWS. It can be GAWS from
there you
channels. Some
go. Just
people
keep just keep coming here, and
pull a
Sturgis
bunch
is
of free
gonna
silver.
eventually gonna give his stack to where eventually you're gonna see the wife's face eventually. She's gonna grab him out of the thing, like, "You're giving our money away. Stop. It's supposed to be for our retirement. Stop sitting by the fire giving your silver away." And anyway, yeah, just keep showing up. We'll give you some silver. But the fact that it's just stay on the mindset. That's again, the prices are relevant. Anticipate it. It's gonna go up and to the right. There's gonna be dips. There's gonna be highs. It's all gonna keep going. Don't let the world and it's trying to influence you with talking heads. I mean, granted, we're kind of talking heads, but again, we're not financial advisors. We're just two dudes here talking and trying to share a little bit of information we have with the general public that are willing to come and listen to us. So we appreciate you all being here. If you just stay on the mindset, just keep stacking. It doesn't matter the price goes. You should feel good the fact that the money that you've been putting away in precious metals has earned you extra money. Where I doubt if you put that money into somewhere else, you'd not have probably gotten the return you would have gotten on gold and silver, unless you went to the casino or and try to do some gambling or whatever. But as far as like Safeway, you're not going to get 2x on your money within 2 years. I guarantee you're what your 401k, no matter what under kind of market conditions. I don't give a damn if you have Warren Buffett as your financial advisor. You're not doubling your assets in 2 years. But if you put money in gold and silver, you would have. Now, I'm not guaranteeing you if you put money in gold and silver now, you're going to double your assets in 2 years. You could, but again, I have no idea. But it's going to keep it's safely putting your money away for a rainy day. It's what it is. You can pass it to anybody. You can give it to somebody. It's payment. Someone does a construction on your house. You're short money. Hey, how about you feel like taking 100 ounces of silver for payment or something like that? I mean, it's means to an end. So it's power. We're literally they're they charge us for power. These lights right now, we have to pay for this stuff. Everything else, they're trying to take the power from us basically. But by putting gold and silver and platinum in your portfolio, in one of my mindset opinions, it's putting power back in yourself now. You're now able to make moves and decisions that people can't make because they don't have $10,000 saved up in silver and gold over the course of 5 years or 10 years. They've never even thought to do that. Now they're in a pinch. Now what are they going to do? They better hope mom and dad's rich or be the bank's willing to give them a loan at whatever rate they're charging right now. So
Well,
it's power, people. It's
and
power. Go
Sean, to
ahead.
that point, every one of us has different levels of income. Some of us are retired, okay, and you have no real income except for Social Security. Others, you may have done a government job, state or local, so you've got a pension. Maybe some of you are have more experience than Sean and I do in life, and you have a pension from a company that did that.
Mhm.
I 401ks are a joke, and it's it's like an inside job. It really took the ability away from us to really control stuff. It's dumb. They really don't help a whole lot.
No,
Mutual funds, same thing. Too much fees on mutual funds, you really don't make all that money. What you're really doing is kind of keeping up with inflation. And so, here's an experiment you can do, and you can go find this on the internet. If you had $1 million in 2000, you could do that at 100,000, but a million is just kind of fun to do, okay? Because we would all love to have that. But let's say you had $1 million in the year 2000. If you took that $1 million and you bought gold, you would have more than $20 million today in gold value. You'd have about 5,000 ounces of gold, okay? If you kept that $1 million in the bank this whole time, you would have $1 million still, okay, right now. Maybe if you could have put it in for a CD at 3%, which is kind of what let's say 2.5%, which is what they say the inflation rate is, you might have doubled your money, okay, but you would have 10x'd it being in gold. So the point I just want to make with that is with silver was pretty good too, but not as good as gold. Gold's been better than silver for the last 20 years. I think silver is going to outperform gold until we get to like a true financial collapse and reset. Then gold always beats out everything else. But with that said, um, your gold and silver outpaces inflation. Plus, the inflation numbers are all made up anyway.
Yeah.
But they
Fugazi.
outpace it. I can tell you that 20 million today buys a lot more than $1 million did in 2000. Okay, it goes further. Um, so it's not just keeping up with inflation on that. But I agree with you, Sean. I think so much of this comes down to you know your strategy, what you're doing, but a lot of it just comes down to continually building your stack. We are going to do a silver giveaway, by the way, at the end of the show today. Someone did ask if I went back because I was on Yankees channel. I go back and buy more Tim rounds. So there's the Tim round.
Timmy.
Tim.
Timmy.
Um, and then there's the Yankee AOK guys. It's not the Mason sign. I know a lot of people are freaking out over that.
The three
Um,
sixes. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Over
don't
their
think Yankee
eyes and
knew.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
don't think Yankee knew about that when he put that out there, and then I was
Most
bringing
people
it up
have no
to him,
idea about that stuff.
and I think he
Most
was
people
like,
have no
"Oh
idea about
yeah,
any of that stuff.
I need to maybe say something different about that." So it says AOK in there, and that's an okay sign if you go back in the day. But I made it back to Tim's the next day, but there was a line wrapping around his building, and so that was easily like another 2 or 3 hour wait. So I didn't have time to do that. I will be calling Tim and seeing if I can get some more rounds from him. But anyway, I've got to do that maybe tomorrow or on Monday. Um, but I left him a stacking surfer T-shirt. We'll see if he ever wears it. It might be funny if he pulls that out one of these days. Maybe I can get him to do that while he's filming. But it's I tried. We'll have to do it another day. I got stuck on a phone call with another person that I couldn't get there fast enough.
Life
Um,
happens.
but here's the thing. It's not about what you pay for something necessarily, and it's not about a certain amount. Everybody has different needs. Kind of the rule of thumb I look for is if you don't have any wealth to protect, you don't need gold, in my opinion. If you have wealth to protect, then you need gold. And kind of my rule of thumb is if they go to revalue gold, one of the numbers that's thrown around there that's just a nice kind of even number is $50,000. So I kind of look at it and I say for every $50,000 I have in net worth, I want to have an ounce of gold. That's kind of how I look at gold. It's wealth insurance to me. And so I can insure my wealth for a lot less, right? It's getting more expensive to do that, by the way, so you may shift that a little bit. But when I started buying gold, it was about 1650 an ounce, and 1650 an ounce for something that could go up to 50,000 as wealth insurance seemed like a great price. It's a little
Yeah.
higher now, but even with that, it's an insurance policy. It's kind of like your life insurance policy, right? You don't get to use it if you're dead. Um, you also don't really use this gold insurance policy unless there's a reset and the gold's worth 50,000 or that strategy doesn't really work. But that's kind of what I look at. Silver, on the other hand, to me is for bartering to buy goods and services should we get into a barter society. And that can happen while we're still using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and we might even have dollars out there. Like Sean said, I did make a video where I took silver into a doctor, and by the time I mentioned it to him and then I took it in, like the spot price had gone up $2. I'm like, this guy got the better end of the deal. But you can do that. And if I were to own a private business, I'm in sales and I work for a big company. If I were in software, if I were in a private business right now, and I had enough cash flow coming in for my business that I'm saving money, I would totally take silver or gold as payment, and I would just stash it away. If I don't have anybody bringing that in, I would buy gold and silver and stash it away anyway. Um, but what a great thing to be able to do some of that bartering. The other thing I look at for silver is speculation. Okay, and this is where platinum comes in for me too. And this is where I want to ask Sean about the platinum side of it. Um, so I'm going to say a few words, and I want to hit the comments real quick, and then Sean will come back to the platinum here, and then we'll do a GAW here in a minute. Um, when you look at speculation for me on silver, it's this idea that it's the most undervalued asset. It has a 45-year cup and handle that we're about to complete once we hit 50 on a daily close. And it might even be the monthly close. I'd have to look at the actual chart, but technically it's a daily. On the weekly, it really cements it in. Once that happens, we've hit the cup and handle. And the way those work is that you have about an 80% chance that it's going to go up. And you take the bottom of the cup and the top of the cup, you take that line and you move it over to the the top of the handle, and that's how high, if you're looking at technical analysis, that's how high the metal's going to go. And that, guys, it's up to like $300 to $600 depending on how people measure that out. Um, that's where it could go in this run. Okay, so it's not like silver is maybe going to go to $100 and then it's going to crash back down to $30. We're looking at a massive run that's going to come from this. A lot of the chart guys I follow on X are calling for an $8,000 to $12,000 gold by 2028 to 2032, and that's conservative. Okay, that's not like a stretch goal. That's like if gold underperforms and does the worst it's ever done in any bull run, right? That's the 8,000, and the 12,000 is not the highest it can go. I want to say in the 70s, Sean, and this is the early 70s before I was alive. Um, I want to say gold did something like a 20x, I think is what it was. So it went from oh, I gotta make sure I'm not mixing up with silver, but I think the gold went from about $100 up to $1,800. So actually, it's more like an 1,800% or 18x is what it did. We can have crazy things that happen. I don't know, right, guys? Now, if it gets super, super crazy and out of control, you're probably going to have some pullback. But we have so much debt now; they're never going to pay it off. We're in a different time now. There's a financial reset that's going to come. There's a monetary reset. The president does not want the dollar to be the reserve currency anymore. He's trying to bring manufacturing home. You can't be the manufacturing capital and have the reserve currency. Doesn't You can't do that. It's the opposite side of things. Um, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, real quick on comments. Let me just see what you guys have here, real quick, and then I got another question for Sean, and then we'll do our silver giveaway. Um, so back in the comments here, guys. Rob has something. There's a book about living trusts. Um, so I think that can be good. I tend to just go get an attorney. Stuff can be expensive, but I like to do that. Now, personally, like this house is in a irrevocable trust, so I don't own my house. I don't own anything actually, um, but I have means of controlling everything. Um, so if anybody sues me, you're not going to get anything. I don't even own this coat that I'm wearing, or
The
my
trust
glasses.
does. The trust owns it all.
The trust owns everything. Let's see what else you guys have here. Uh,
Yeah, something about XRP with gold. I've
so
had
I'll
this
just
like
tell you
that.
guys, when I wire money to buy metals, I never tell them I'm buying metals. I tell them I'm making an investment. They don't really question investments. But if you tell them that you're buying gold and silver coins, yeah, they're not going to let that leave. If you tell them you're buying Bitcoin, they're not going to let that leave. Um, I do know if you try to get a pretty good sum of cash, it can sometimes you have to wait a week for it to come in. The banks don't have a lot of cash on hand. Um, I would say that platinum is still a little bit more undervalued than silver, um, in the short run. But here's the thing: platinum's not a monetary metal, so it doesn't have the same potential that silver has if we take it back to being what's used by people for commerce. Platinum's much more of a industrial metal than silver is even. And when we get out of the recession we're in, even though they won't name the recession, my Disneyland indicator has gone off now. The park is not full; it's a ghost town. Um, the moment that you start seeing Disney offering like massive discounts on to get into the park for I don't know what you call it, tickets, I guess, um, you'll know you're in deep in the recession. They're not going to call it a recession again because that's a dirty word, but that's where we're at when we get out of the recession and people start making more money, relative to what they have today, and they can buy more things, like start to buy cars again and stuff. You're going to see platinum go up. And once you see platinum, I would say hit the $2,000 mark. To 2,500 is where they're going to start stealing catalytic converters out of your car again. Once you hit 3 or 4,000 bucks, then you got to park it in the garage. They're going to like rip them all off. But it does have more potential technically. So before we get to that, that'll be the next thing I'm going to ask Sean on real quick. But okay, let me see what else you guys had in here real fast. I try to get to the comments we can, but it does get hard.
It's all good.
Um, Paul thinks that we're going to hit silver $400 within the next 3 years. It is possible. That
Possible.
is not crazy talk. Um, let's see. The U.S. national debt clock. No one knows who's running that thing. So think of them like just some rogue guys that put something together.
It's the
And
Keebler elves in the tree. That's all it is.
we don't know
Yeah.
who's doing that, but it's their opinion of things. So don't look at that like it's a fortune teller or it's
It's
like
a
a
fear
crystal ball.
machine. What it is, it's a
Yeah.
machine. It's a machine. It's a anyway. Yeah,
If
it's just
anything,
basically
it's
what scared the crap out of you. Like, look how much we're spending. Look how fast it's going. Oh my god,
yeah,
it's a snowball going down the hill, an avalanche. You can't. Yeah, I get it. We get it.
yeah.
We get it, people. It's
Well,
but
and it's
it's interesting to look at all the different numbers though, and to kind of if people really didn't realize how I don't know how I don't want to say bad things are because that makes sounds horrible, but I guess they are bad. But I guess it's on the how you view things in the world. But it is interesting the numbers they put up there as far as like how much like they say like how much we're actually in debt. They keep saying this $40 trillion debt, but there's really like what we're at like 300 trillion or something as far as like what
like
we
200, two close to
it's
200. Yeah.
it's not it's nuts. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
So
Interesting.
so with that, the debt clock, the get debt calculator, or debt clock, I forget what they call it, but it's cool, it's fun, it's good eye candy. You can go look at it. They don't actually know exactly how many paper shares, like paper silver and gold exist. They don't know that. They're just kind of guessing where it's at. It used to be 400 for silver, now it's down to like 365 or something. Um, they're using a calculation on that. They don't know it for sure because if it was ever acknowledged that that's what's happening, the entire derivatives market would blow up and go away. Most of the people buying SLV and GLD, and that's some of you guys potentially. Um, there's only 1 ounce in there for about every hundred and I think it's like 70 ounces, 180 ounces of gold, and then or there's 180 fake ounces of gold to 1 real ounce of gold. That's called rehypothecation. They resell the thing 185 times. I don't even know how that's legal. Derivatives should not even be legal, and if you look at derivatives, they're into the quadrillions. Okay, and so we've created so much fake money into this whole system. Like literally, gold should probably be like $1 million an ounce. Not even
Yeah.
kidding. If you really take if you take Bitcoin and all the cryptos away, you take the cash away, you get rid of all the derivatives market, and you put 8 billion people in here to the amount of ounces we have, gold has to go way higher, like way higher. And so when you really think of it from that standpoint, gold was the money of kings, and silver was the money of gentlemen, and debt was the money of peasants. Um, I forget who said that. If you guys know, put that in the chat. But um, I'm not a king. Sean's not a king. In history, we would never own gold. Okay, we don't have enough wealth to own the gold. So we would be owning silver, and we'd be hard pressed to get the silver. You'd actually be doing things more like copper and tin and nickel and whatever else metals they were using for some of their coins. You'd be hard pressed to have a lot of silver, and to have gold, you would actually be kind of royalty. So if the fact that we can buy it today tells me it's been massive manipulation. Just one thing from RN to XRP. I do think I do have XRP. I do think it has the possibility of becoming a Swift competitor or helping Swift. Um, I'll just put this out with cryptocurrencies. I think they're all overpriced. I think there's too much speculation and hype around them, and I think people are buying them to get rich. And anytime you buy something to get rich, you're overpaying for it. Just to put that out there. And so I think there's a lot of utility to these things. I think a lot of them that have good utility will stay around. So you're probably talking dozens. I think most of them are garbage. They're going to disappear on us. Um, Bitcoin's an interesting one because it doesn't do anything. It just holds money somewhere. And the only reason it holds any money versus a stable coin is because it feels safer than a stable coin. It can't be devalued like a stable coin can, where they can create more of them. But with that said, it still takes electricity, it still takes power, it still takes um, knowing how to use it, and computers and everything else to make it work. And if we don't have some of those in the future, which is possible, um, and I know when I talk to my crypto friends, they're like, "Look, if we don't have power, then we have bigger problems." You do, but wouldn't you also want to not be poor at the same time? So, I don't understand that. Like, go get seeds, ammunition, guns, food storage, know how to grow food, know how to do stuff, right? Like, why wouldn't you go do those things too? And then why not have gold and silver? Because that stuff still works if there's no electricity. And believe it or not, people do barter because they did in the past. Why would they not in the future? Now, I'm not saying we're going to have that problem right now, but it can be an issue. One thing from Jared here: the trust owns everything. That's nuts. Um, Not when you live in a state where people sue you if they, stub their toe on your front door. Um,
Protect you from lawsuits.
it protects you from all those lawsuits, and there's ways to control it still. Okay, so I didn't give all the money away. I just am not tied to it, and um, these things are not inexpensive. They're pretty expensive, um, and they're not right for everybody to set up an irrevocable trust. If you don't have a lot of liabilities, you wouldn't need to worry about that. Just get a revocable one, but talk to an attorney. Don't just go to LegalZoom and fill out a form. You need to have someone that knows what they're doing. Um, all right, let's see. Mining ratio. Someone brought that up again. So the ratios are going to change. What I'm saying is there's not enough money in silver yet for someone to go, hey, I want to go build a mine and start mining. The companies that were already in the process of putting them together, they're starting to ramp up, is what's happening. And when silver was at $20, at $25, there wasn't enough money in it for them to do it. Now that silver's almost at 50, it's starting to be, hey, we can make some money from this. Maybe we'll do this. What I'm saying is once it gets over to triple digits, $100, I think it's profitable enough that they start looking at it and they're like, hey, if we can make $50 an ounce um, profit in silver, we should probably start doing it, just like they are with gold. That's kind of the
Right.
the thing there. But it's also I don't know the numbers, so I'm just kind of shooting from the hip there. Um,
Thanks, Craig. Craig's taking off. He's got to go as his family showed up.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Craig.
monitoring, Craig. You're a stud, dude. Appreciate you being here, bud.
Yeah, Mr. Happy Stacker, they are going to dump. So the stable coin, I believe, was either created for or it's going to be utilized to soak up the debt. The foreign countries don't want it anymore, and we can't pay this debt off, and we can't stop spending the money. Um, like, put a one in the comment if you are on Social Security or you need Social Security to live. Okay, put a one in there. I want to see how many of those ones are in there. We've got 50 people in here. I don't expect everybody to comment because a lot of times you don't. But put a one in there if you're counting on Social Security. If you're not, put a zero. Um, if Where's the comment on here? Well, anyway, if we don't do if we stop spending the kind of money that we have, you have to get rid of the military. You have to get rid of Social Security. If we get rid of both of those, we don't have a way to protect ourselves, and we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be on the street. Okay. Um, Social Security is a social program. It is socialism. Okay. So if you guys are against socialism, you should be against Social Security. However, you were forced to pay into it. You want your money. There's the conundrum. I want my money. I'm entitled to it because I put it into the system, but it's a socialism mechanism. So is Medicaid, Medicare. So I'm not saying those should not exist necessarily. I'm saying that because they do exist, we have become more socialistic than we did. Republics don't have those things. Okay, just to put it out there. There were other mechanisms we used to help families, right? We took care of our own families. We had people that did things in the community. So the government can't just drop Social Security and drop the military. And because it can't do that, it needs a way to soak up all the debt because they're going to keep printing and they're going to start printing more. Stablecoin. That's what's going to happen there. So um, my my thought is I'm not going to keep very much money in the stablecoin. It's probably how my employer is going to pay me, and I'll just use the stablecoin they pay me in to basically pay my life fees, right? And I will funnel as much of that crap out of there as I can to put into either either like Bitcoin or something else. Even though I'm not a huge Bitcoin fan, I'd rather have it in Bitcoin than I would to have it in a stable coin. I just don't like having everything on a public ledger. I hate that. Like I'd rather have things private. That's one of the things I don't like about the crypto stuff. However, I think Bitcoin's going way higher because I also think it's another one of the sponges of liquidity in U.S. debt. So I think it's going to continue to go up. Um, all right, let's see. And I do have cryptos. I just don't. It's a much smaller percentage of my stuff. Okay.
There's actually something I wanted to mention now that you said to like crypto, and it's kind of a little bit off topic, but um, it's kind of like, I don't know, people kind of always have certain questions and doubts about like, system collapse and everything else in itself too. I got done recently watching a series on HBO. It came out several years ago, but I just recently watched it. My buddy might turn me on to it. I don't know if you all in the chat have seen it or not. It's a series called Mr. Robot. It has a Christian Slater in it, and I forget what the other actor main guy's name is. I can't remember who it is. He's one of the
Yeah, we're doing the
upcoming new
GAW in a
actors and
couple
stuff.
minutes. We're almost done.
But there is in one couple of the episodes there, I think it's in like season 2 or something like that. I won't give it away for people who actually want to watch the show, but it's an interesting show to watch because it really shows. I'll give a little bit away. Sorry. Kind of what happens when the system collapses, and it kind of really shows how it would unfold and how life would continue afterwards. I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. So if you're curious about maybe binge watching a really good show, you have nothing else on. I've already finished this. I've already finished this. I'm just kind of whatever. Mr. Robots, 4 seasons. I think that's like 10 to
Oh,
12
I just finished
episodes
it.
each.
Yeah.
It's very good, very interesting to kind of put it in perspective, kind of how I kind of describe it. It's kind of like 2 movies from about almost 25, 30 years ago. Think the movies Hackers with Angelina Jolie and the movie Fight Club. It's a little bit of those 2 movies kind of put together. A little bit of Pulp Fiction kind of mixed in a little too, if you kind of get my drift as far as how the timelines kind of go back and forth. But it's a really good show, and it shows a really good example of how something could happen like this, and how
Yeah.
life would be, and how people think that, oh, there'll never be digital currency, would never be the way of the future. Well, not saying it's going to happen, but this show over here kind of gives a good explanation about how it would happen. And those who kind of are or kind of like me are into the deep knowledge stuff, they kind of know about how Hollywood likes to do their revelational disclosures and stuff, and kind of show things in movies and cinema like years and stuff before it happens. Um, I recently learned about how the movie Snake Eyes and stuff with Nicolas Cage all those years ago, kind of without adding too much to it all in with this, but the movie Snake Eyes kind of predicted the recent assassination of one of the political figures, Charlie Kirk and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Yep.
But anyway,
Well, last thing I'll
go
say
ahead.
on there too, Sean, is even in that setup scenario where they basically kind of poo-pooed Bitcoin for a stable coin,
Yeah,
and that's what got pushed out more, which was interesting. But it doesn't show it. But in that TV show, you could see how they could use gold and silver to trade and still barter
yeah,
with things. And so, to me, I think it's an important insurance to have, right? In addition to that, I think right now we're in a time period where it can actually be a good investment too. If you're buying silver even right now, I believe it's going to multiply multiple times higher than where it's at now. And so, even if you don't think the world is going to get crazier or harder, I do think you're going to have an opportunity to make some money off of the silver increase, and you can sell it. You're just going to have to have a stronger exit strategy for it. Um, One of the things Big Test Unit in here says is he's not going to, put money in for 50 years. He wants what's owed to him. What I'm saying about Social Security is not that you don't get to get your money out. The system was always planned for you to have pensions from the company you work with for or the government. That's supposed to be what was happening. 401ks were a cop out to basically make it so the companies didn't have to pay the pensions anymore. And they put it on you, right? It's on you to take a percentage of your income and put it into the 401k, and they'll match it. And you have to stay there for a certain period of time. The companies have all these outs on it. And when you start to put something in place like a 401k, a company also doesn't have to keep you employed for as many years and for as long. It changed everything, right? It's the same thing when we went off tariffs and they brought in the unconstitutional income tax. Okay, that was never constitutional for us, but it was completely necessary. If you were going to grow the federal government this big, then you need to have the income tax to pay for it. um, that's what happens. And then when the system gets too big and it starts breaking, they take you off a gold standard so that they can continue to print more money to buy more things. Okay, so there's a lot of games that are being played you may not be aware of. But yes, you're entitled to all the money that you put into those systems if it's there. Now, by the time I get to it, I don't know that I'll get all the money out that I put into it, or that money is going to be worth what I put into it to begin with. And so it might seem like a nice amount of money I'm getting, but it could be a problem. Now, one thing we have for Generation X that's nice is, but it's harder for baby boomers, and it's why Social Security has such an issue. Is there's way more baby boomers than there are Gen X. Gen X is like the smallest generation out there. We don't even get anything, right? We're kind of sandwiched between two, and they never talk about us. The millennials that are below us and Gen Y, or that's Gen Y, and then Gen Z are way bigger than Gen X. And so if they can start to make more money, they'll be able to put more into the system, which could help Gen X still. But the issue is those guys aren't making the kind of money that their grandparents were making at their age. And so the system's, kind of breaking and unwinding a little bit. Okay, let's do this real quick, guys. So, Sean, the last thing I was just going to say here, I got to remember exactly what we were saying to kind of end it, and then we'll do the GAW. We were going to talk about platinum and gold and silver. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of remember forgetting exactly where we're going to go with it, but
It's all good.
I guess the last thing I'll say to you guys is this: I like all three of the metals, but for different reasons. And so, if your income, let's say if you have a lower net worth, okay, and I'm not going to tell you what that number is because that's all relative. I live in Southern California in La La Land, where like you can't even buy a one bedroom, condo here for under $1 million. Doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
it's
It's just
crazy town.
stupid. And you can go to like places like Louisiana and probably buy a really nice house for three or four, maybe $500,000.
Buy the whole state
So
for what? Yeah,
it's all relative to where you're at, the market you're in, and things like that. If you feel like you have wealth that you need to protect, I think gold is a great place to protect your wealth. My prediction is that we're going to see, and this is hard for me to give an exact number on December 31st, but I haven't given that yet. I guess I'll do that real quick.
there you
My
go.
call was 4,000 by the end of December. Based on what's happening right now, I think we have a higher chance to be somewhere between 4,200 and $4,500 for gold. Now, December is usually a time that people may sell things, and it kind of dips down. So it's hard to call exactly. December 31st can be tricky. Um, but I do think we could see gold get up quite a bit higher. We could see gold hit 4,000 next week.
Yeah,
It's not unspeakable. So once we hit 4,000 on gold, I think it's running. I think it's going to
yeah,
run up higher, and I think it's going to go. I'd be surprised if it doesn't go at least to $4,500. December 31st, it's going to be somewhere between there. It may come back down a little bit. People will want to take profits. And you have to remember, spot price isn't determined about between me and you guys going to a local coin shop to buy or sell. It's determined by paper, by GLD and by SLV, and what the big guys are doing. So, you know, people that are trading gold may decide to hurry and unload it at the end of the year to do what's called tax loss harvesting, or they may do it because they want to have those profits booked in this year, instead of in next year, right? They might want to start over again. So you could see people dumping it just to get out of it. Silver. Silver for me is for bartering and also speculation. I think we're going to see silver potentially at 65 bucks, maybe even as high as $70 by the end of the year. It's really starting to run. And I think once we hit 50, it's going to keep going. I wish it would go lower because I want to buy more. And I haven't been stacking for 40 years like you guys. I started stacking back in 2018. And I mean, technically, I stacked in the 80s when I was a little kid. I have no idea where that stuff went. I can't find it. So it doesn't really count. I think we could get as high as 65. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. These numbers I'm giving you is pure speculation, and it's where I think things actually could be at based on what's happening today. So I would not go buy today thinking you're going to sell at 65 because Stacking Surfer told you. Okay, don't do that. But I think we really could hit 65 to $70 silver. Platinum's an interesting one. Um, I do think we could see $2,000 platinum. And so, you know, mind you, platinum has a high premium right now buying it. So be very careful. Look for sales. I think right now it is JM Bullion has platinum bars on sale for like $40 over spot on platinum, which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
Um, if you can pick up something that's like a kangaroo, a platypus. Actually, I would say the platypus or like koalas are better than the kangaroos. But if you can get something like this, like Sean's showing here, um, personally, I'd pay a little bit more for that than just a random bar that is in random condition. And this thing looks like it just came from the mint. But you can do that. For me, platinum is really just it's a trade for me. It's a flip. It's not something I plan on holding on to and passing to my kids personally. Maybe a little bit. For me, it's mostly something that I'm going to flip out of, and I'm going to buy some other asset with it. Now, when I go to sell gold and silver, I don't put it back into cash because cash is trash. Okay. However, cash is king at the same time too, especially in down times. But I'm not going to put it back into cash. I'll put it into other assets. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to have to do this for the GAW guys. Doing it this way, I can't put a wheel up. I can't do like a name grab or any of that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is um, I'm going to ask a question, and I've got an answer, and this is going to be something that helps the people that started with the stream. If you just came on the stream, you're not gonna get it. Okay, so I want to reward the people that have been here watching the whole time, not the people that just jump in for a free GAW because their friend told them that Surfer's giving
Yeah,
out
we
a
did
GAW.
like the 10 people
Um,
just showed up.
yeah, 10 people showed up for that real quick. So you might be able to guess this,
Can't
by the
blame them.
way.
Can't
But
blame them.
we're gonna do this for two people right now. Look, my hope is we can get the channel generating more revenue. Eventually,
Yeah.
I can get a coin shop to start giving out, or a bullion dealer to start giving silver out like Yankee does. Um, my wife has kind of put the kibosh on putting too much out, but I want to help you guys. We did get to the goal we had with Andy. So what I'm
Hey,
going to do is I'm going to do two silver quarter giveaways. Okay, they're 90% silver. Quarters are awesome. They're fun giveaways. They do have some good value to them. It's easy for me to get those out to you guys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do one question for the first one and a second question for the second one. Okay, so here's the first question, guys. What coin shop did I go to last week? And you got to go fast.
are you doing first answer or are you doing like a number like after like the seventh, eighth, whatever number down, or are you just gonna pick the first person?
This one we're going to do the first person that comes up on my stream.
Looks
And
like
yeah, Tim and Yankee both count. Tom, no, but I think you meant Tim. Um, all right, let's see. Who do we get here first? I'm seeing Metal Mobster first
that's who I'm
on
seeing
mine.
too.
Okay, so Metal Mobster. Send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. Shoot me your information. I may already have it, but please send it again. And just in the title or the subject, just put GAW from
Call
today's
one.
date. What are we at?
Call
The
one.
3rd of
Yeah.
October. Yeah, GAW one. And we'll get that out to you. Um, if any of you guys want stickers, I have a lot of extra stickers around too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sticker
let
man.
me know. It's an easy stamp to send out a sticker to someone. So just email me as well if you guys want a sticker. Um, just know those might take a little bit longer to get back to you guys. Okay, so here's the second one we're going to do. And I apologize for not being able to have a better way of doing this or not, but we're going to do the second one like Sean said. So we're gonna look at number 7. Okay, number 7 that comes up is the one we're going to pick. Okay, so we'll do this one in a way that you didn't have to necessarily be here the whole time to get this one. Um, all right, let me think here. So um, Okay, this is going to be a fun one because you have three choices. Okay, so of the three precious metals we've talked about today, that are the top three metals that we consider precious. Actually, I think they're the only three metals that are considered precious metals. I think the other ones are, people might argue on palladium and rhodium, but I'd call those more industrial metals. Of the three precious metals, you can't go until I say start. Um, okay, so you can't go until I say start. Which one is Sean's favorite? Go, start. No, remember, we're going to pick number 7. No one's going to go fast now. That's what's going to happen. And you can only put it in once. You can only put it in
Everyone's
once, guys.
waiting. Bang. Everyone's waiting. Bang. Okay, now. Go. Sell them out. Oh, go. Yeah. 45.
But one guess, and it's going to
John.
be the 7th person that guesses the metal right. And this will be a bonus for those of you that have watched our other shows in the past. Okay, so I'm going to start looking it up. All right. So here's the.
I guess the better question is it's probably, well, the answer's still the same, but instead of it being like my favorite one, it's the one I guess I guess been, I don't know, nominated to speak about. I guess is my favorite metal. So that's we'll leave it.
Well, hey, you tell Sean, which one's your favorite metal? You get to pick one of the 3 metals right now.
Oh man, I know what answer you were looking for the viewers who kind of recently who
But they,
watched it, and
yeah,
I think
okay,
it's
that's true.
on.
I guess
But
we kind of give them the hint. So you tell us.
all right, so I showed it earlier, and I guess for my kind of favorite metal, I'm kind of like watching and kind of looking at right now is the platinum. So if you click platinum, that's going to be the answer of choice. So we're looking for the 7th person down who picked
So
platinum.
check on your feed too. I'm showing J, just the letter J.
Shampoo. That's funny. Are you counting play as platinum? I don't know if that they meant platinum or
I don't know. Let me see. So number 1 I'm seeing is
monster.
the Humble Stacker. Number 2 is Richie Crash. Number 3 is Bill Arrington. Number 4 is Metal Mobster. Number
5 is
5 is
Chris.
Trish Ashby. 6 is Theodore Berde. I'm not exactly sure how to say your name. Okay, so yes, that's what we got to look at here. Play. I don't know
Did
what
he
play
mean
is.
platinum or Jay definitely has as far as platinum written out.
All right,
Jay does
here's what
have
we'll
the
do. We'll do as Stormy used to say. I think he's maybe done with YouTube for a while.
he'll
We're
count
gonna
it.
do a dude. We'll do a dude deal here. So we'll do 3 of
Dude
GAWS.
move.
Okay, so a dude move. Brett Hilloff. I think you meant
I started
platinum.
that.
Now, if you
It's
didn't
all
mean
good.
platinum and you just wanted to say play because that's fun, then don't send an email. But if you want a silver quarter, Brett and Jay, go ahead and send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. I need your mailing address. I need to know how to salutate it. I need to know your name so that the mailman or woman's like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
Please put in your YouTube channel. The other thing on there is GAWS are for people that are subscribers. If you guys are not subscribed, go hurry and subscribe. And check out the videos at least for a while. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do that. Hit the thumbs up, double tap the screen, also hit the bell icon so you get notifications. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff. It's just going to be sporadic on when I can actually do it, unfortunately. But
Right, man.
send me an email. In the title, put in uh, Silver
Golf
God number
too.
2, and just remind me it's a silver quarter. And one of these days, we'll get to a point where we can do more than that, which would be awesome. But we're not quite there yet. And just know that the silver keeps going up. I like constitutional, or people call it junk silver too. I think it's great. I don't do 40%. I don't like that stuff. Um, but I do like the 90%, and I think that's the best for bartering. I think your nicer coins like your eagles are better for trading into gold and doing a swap when we get down to a lower GSR. I think you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck, and you're going to get someone that's willing to do that over just constitutional junk or rounds. But hopefully that was fun for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
and get rhodium. Ethan says get rhodium. It's hard to find rhodium, man. I think rhodium's pretty cool, but here's the deal with rhodium. You got to make sure you know someone will buy it from you. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you're going to buy rhodium or palladium from someone, get them to commit to buy it back from you. Otherwise, you could be stuck with this really cool piece of metal that you have no idea what to do with it. And those two metals are in the platinum group. So that crap takes massive heat to melt. So you're probably not just going to go play around with that in your furnace and melt it and turn it into some other shape. So if you're buying that, know that you're going to need to find your exit strategy way ahead of time. Silver, gold, easy to sell. Okay, even platinum is pretty easy to sell. Just about every coin shop will take your platinum. Um, Stackers back and forth. It's mostly silver, and then some gold on top of that. So, last piece of advice I'll give you guys for tonight is this. Let's see. Last piece of advice I'm going to give you guys: it's better to have something than nothing. Um, Gold and silver and even platinum are metals you can hold on to. You can easily bury gold anywhere in your backyard or anywhere you want to, just by itself, and it's going to look the same when you pull it out of the ground. I mean, you can put it in the ocean. In a couple hundred years later, you can pull it out, it looks fine. Even 1,000 years, it doesn't corrode. It's a great metal. It's great. You could bury that stuff, no problem. Silver, you got to make sure you wrap it up if you're going to do any of that kind of stuff with it. But the key is these are things you can hold on to. You can put them in places. Just make sure you remember where you put it. Um, I just recommend continually buying. You never know when the price is going up. You don't know when it's going to go down. You can see the trends. If you hold all your money and you wait for it, or you buy all at once, you're kind of stuck with that. With that said, I wouldn't go too crazy. Like, let's say you had $5,000 right now. I wouldn't try to dollar cost average $5,000 over 2 years. I think that's crazy. But you might want to dollar cost average it over 3 months. Okay. And do a few things like that. Now, on the flip side, you might say, hey, I think it's going a lot higher and I'd rather get an ounce so I don't have as much, like gold, for example, I don't have as much of a premium. You can do that. But even 10th ounces go up. I just sold a 10th ounce uh, Lynx today on eBay for $450 plus another $12 for shipping on top of it.
Nice.
And I I don't remember how much I bought that for, but it was lower, right? So there, I did make money off of it. Plus, I can turn around and buy another 10th ounce. I can't buy those. I'm the only one on eBay that has them. I don't think anybody has any of those for sale anywhere on the internet. Not even the distributor has those. Um, and I won't be able to replace that coin, but I can go and get like a Gold Eagle or a Britannia for quite a bit less than that. So you get to lock in a little bit of profits with something like that. But you got to take all those things into account, right? So premiums are crazy, and all I'm saying is, even if you go get a 10th ounce coin and you pay a high premium, they're going to go up in value, and the premium will kind of wash itself away. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it too much. Not financial advice, just two guys trying to give you guys some ideas on what to do. I don't know, Sean. Any parting words you want to leave with them?
We're at $400 a 10th ounce. Can you believe that? What was it? 2 years ago, we were buying them for like less than 200. It's pretty nutty. But anyway, I think your advice is great. Keep buying when you can. Keep on your budget. Stack when you're available. Sell when you need it. If you don't need the money, just hold on to it. If you do need the money, just be happy if you bought it 2 years ago that you're getting more money for what you're selling than what you paid for it. Um, it's all about mindset. Don't let the rest of the world drive you crazy. Don't put too much faith into like what the world's trying to tell you and what it wants you to do, and just think for yourselves, make smart decisions. If you have questions along the way, don't be afraid to ask. There's no stupid questions, and the stupid questions are the ones that are not asked. Don't be afraid to ask somebody or ask one of us a question. It doesn't matter. The fact that you want to inquire and gain knowledge, you're you're in my opinion the tip of the spear of humanity. Is not many people really have the mindset they want to gather information to help themselves, or feel they even need to do that. They feel they'll my life is good. My plan is fine. I'm not worried about anything. And they're not taking into the full realization that they don't have a control of their full life, that there's mitigating factors outside their control and human factors in nature and the world that things could happen that can affect them. And they don't really have, in my opinion, the fire extinguisher under your kitchen sink, which is what all this kind of metal stuff is. It's only in case of emergency if you need it, or when you really need it, it's stopping power, buying power, whatever. Um, don't try to compare your stack to somebody else. And man, I wish I had this guy's stack, or I wish I had more. That's just a mindset that's going to lead to a mental defeat. Don't do that. Just be, like I said, be happy for what you have currently. The fact that you've made the decision to be a part of this stacking journey for yourself and with the community, that you're able to literally see more for yourself and see basically as something that's there where you can buy and hold on to. It's just going to be able to, it and gold and silver does nothing, if anything, just to help it does. If it besides the industrial uses and everything else they have for it, if anything, it's a help. It helps people. It'll improve your life in so many facets about putting your hard work money away and keeping it safe, the safety net. It's a good, hobby, if you will. The old guy collecting coins, everyone thinks it's all it is. The old guy sitting in his chair looking at coins and going through rolls. It's so much more than that. It's a something that you improves your mind. You're disciplining yourself to like, no, I won't buy that new TV or new cell phone because of all the bells and whistles. I'll put my money into gold, silver, and platinum because I know this is going to help me in the future versus this purchase. It's doing things for yourself to improve yourself. You mentioned about growing food as far as something you're doing. So that's something I actually been doing for the last 2 years and heavily did it actually this summer. And it's the reason why you didn't really see any videos of me really do anything at all like I did last year at all, or really did any whole lot of live streams with you or anybody else. I literally immersed myself in my garden almost every single day. And it almost became almost like an area zen for me, of release of just the world itself. I could just be in my little garden, just the
Hmm.
joy I got from watching things grow, knowing that I nurtured this plant along. I reap the rewards of whatever crop is going to yield. Not only is it, good to know how to do this stuff for yourself and grow in case something happens where you have to grow your own food. It provides so much more just mentally for yourself that I highly recommend it, that if you haven't tried it before, even if you don't think you have a green thumb. I used to not do this stuff. I used to never would dread thinking about working in the garden years ago. You couldn't. You'd have to pay me $100 an hour cash in order to get me out in any kind of garden, do any kind of stuff. Now I do it for free for myself because it provides me not only with an immeasurable resource of knowledge to be able to learn about the ecosystem and the plant life and self sustainability. But it provides just a zen that a lot of us just need. That we just need to unplug from everything, that the signals that are blaring with the internet and the TV and the radio and the 5G and everybody and we're all just it's just sped up and stuff. We need that. Everybody needs like at least once a week or at least, 2 weeks of the year to kind of just really go somewhere, finding some zen, even if it's not a vacation, go take a drive somewhere into the country, or just unplug from your
For
natural
sure.
thing yourself to really relax. And if you find a passion in something, whether it be outside of gold and silver, or you take up gardening, or whatever it is that you do, if you have a passion for anything, whether it be something small or something big, or somebody thinks it's stupid, or your husband or your wife, your girlfriend or boyfriend thinks it's stupid, it doesn't matter. If it's any kind of mental reward for you, do it every day, and you keep doing it until you can't do it anymore, or until that becomes no longer enjoyable for you. Then find something else. I can't stress how finding a release of of just everything for yourself, be able to go somewhere or have something that you could turn to literally just immerse yourself in, because it's so gratifying. I never thought that like growing potatoes or watching carrots grow, or watch sunflowers, just watch them slowly blossom open, how much joy I receive from just watching that happen every day. It's like I don't have any kids, but I guess I've talked to parents who have said that like the joy of having kids is watching them grow through the years,
Mhm.
watching them grow physically, mentally, spiritually, just everything. They're just watching their kids become that they created that, nurtured it, and now they're seeing the rewards of that. And you can get that with plant lives, you can get that with a pet. If you don't have a pet, a dog makes it great. I have a dog actually, he's outside whining for me right now. So when I end this, I'm gonna give him a big hug. Dogs are great things, or I advocate getting a dog. Pit bulls are loving animals. I feel bad they get the bad rep they do. They're a great thing for the house to bring a lot of joy in. If I can leave anybody with some advice besides outside of the stacking things I've already said multiple times about staying on your course, keeping a positive mindset even in terrible times, like find a passion that you love that you can receive a feeling that is unmeasurable and that you can't buy in a store. No precious metal site's going to go and be able to just send you something if through the mail that's going to give you the kind of reward that you get from being involved in whatever it is that brings you happiness. And if coming on live streams with people or just watching people on live streams it brings you joy, do it. Do it every single day. That's why we love you guys for being here. We appreciate the community. Otherwise, we're just two guys staring at our TV screens for almost 2 hours talking to ourselves, basically through a screen that looks like something out of Star Trek in the 1970s, right? So the fact that you all are here and even leaving comments, the fact that you're still here, all some 40 of you all who have stuck around ever since you gave the silver, and you could have taken off, could have gone watch some HBO, whatever, you could have done whatever you want, but you're sitting here listening to my goofy ass, you're listening to Acting Stuffer, and I just want to say I personally appreciate it. I'm a nobody here. I have less than 200 subs. I'm trying to now deciding to I'm going to put my presence out here a little bit more like Surfer, basically join him on the mission of spreading the message. I think, there needs to be more people out here just spreading positive messages and kind of, if you will, offering solutions to situations without causing problems in the first place. Because it always seems that the system, if you will, causes the problem, and then the system has the solution for it, and you don't really have any alternative but to listen to the solution. But I'll tell you this: they're definitely all alternatives to the system and stuff and what they tell you to do. But anyway, besides finding the joy in the stacking thing and loving you guys for being here, I think I've basically said what I needed to say. Um, I appreciate you all, dealing with my crappy setup. I'm pretty sure my volume of my mic is not as crystal clear as Surfer does, but um, it is what it is. Such is life. But I just want to say thank you to you all. I appreciate you all. To any of those that decided to sub to my channel, who watches any of my videos, I'll look at the analytics and I'll see a big up and to the right the last couple of days going from low, and all of a sudden here's a couple spikes on the first day of October. So I appreciate anybody that creates that for me and stuff. And I'll promise to again, I'm going to try to put some more videos out and talk about gold and silver and not just be about fireworks and my garden stuff. But anyway, other than that, that's about it. If anybody has any questions for us at the last minute before we take off, feel free to drop any last questions for us. And
Yeah,
that's about it.
we're gonna do another GAW real quick. So Metal
Well,
Mobster
look at
wants to
that,
donate his GAW. So
dude. That's your stud for doing that. That's the total
so
dude move.
Sean, I'm gonna let you guess. I'm gonna have you come up with the question and the answer for it.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay.
Sean's precious bullion spelled with a Y on the bullion,
Yeah,
like bullion.
Bullyon. It's not because I'm a bully or was a bully in high school like that. It's because I have a pit bull. He's a bully, so it's kind of like if you go to my website, you'll see my dog hanging out of my car with his tongue. My actually had my sister was happened to be driving by us, and he had his hand up out the window, and tongue's like at that, and looks like that TLC song. I don't want no scrubs hanging out the side of a passenger's ride, trying to holler at me. So anyway,
Well,
that's
here's what we
that's
could
the
do
end
too.
part.
So Paul brought up a
I have a
good
good.
point.
I have a question. I do have a good one
Okay, you got one.
actually.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
It's for people who are informed. Let's see how
So
informed
here's
people
what
are.
I'm going to throw out, Paul. You make a good point here. Give it to a new stacker. So Unfortunately,
It's
this year I
awesome.
have not done any new videos on the pier because I have no one to film for me. Um, OC Stacker had done a lot of filming in the past, but he started a new business. He's been completely busy. So I just haven't been able to get him to go out to the beach with me to do any of those. California is not the place you set up a tripod with a camera and then, step 20 feet away from it and talk to people and pay attention to them and then look back and go, crap, the camera's gone.
Camera's gone.
So without a camera person, I can't do that. But one of the things I would love to do as a mission down the road is I would love to, um, have enough money coming into the channel that I can give out 1 ounce coins to people, at the piers. And I'd love to be able to go all over the country to coin shows. And I'd love to be able to go to the beaches and other places like that all over the country at some point. Um, but to get there, you got to have like 100 to be able to do that. You've got to have like 100,000 subscribers, and you got to be getting like 40 to 50,000 views per video. Um, with some of them being higher, some being lower. But until you do that, there's really no money in this YouTube stuff. Like you just you don't make enough to support it. But I look at like Trax New York, where he'll go out into New
Just
York
throw gold
City
and just
and
throw
he'll be
gold
like, how much
everywhere.
is this chain I have on? And if they guess the price really close, he gives them like a, excuse me, right now he's not giving out ounces of gold, but he was giving out ounces of gold. Now he's probably giving out like a half an ounce or a quarter ounce of gold and or a kilo bar of silver. And if you don't guess it as closely, you get like a silver round. So it's kind of cool how he's doing that. He's waking people up. I would love to do more of that. Could you do copper coins? You could, but it's not quite as exciting to people. Um, but what I may end up doing is getting like the half gold backs, which I think run around $4 or $5 a piece now. Maybe it's
Something
four
like that.
bucks a
Yeah.
piece.
Hmm.
Those could be kind of fun to give out. I don't know. They won't work with you unless you have 50,000 subscribers on your channel. Um, but
So
there's things like that that I
we'll
want to do
change
to wake
that.
people up. So if you win
We'll change
GAWS,
that.
I'll throw this out there. If you guys win GAWS and you already have a bunch of silver, consider giving it to someone else that is not a stacker yet. Do you know a younger person in your life that by giving that to them and saying, hey, go watch some videos on YouTube about gold and silver to see what you have and
It'll
helping them
change their life.
understand that it's not 25 cents, it's worth a lot more than that. That could be really cool. So I'd recommend that. Okay, Sean, do your question. Everybody wants their quarter.
Everyone's their quarter. Okay. So this is we mentioned this, or I mentioned it earlier, and we'll just go with, we'll see how informed people are here. I know there's a lot of smart people and a lot of smart people in the chat, and I appreciate everybody's intelligence level, not just being like, I want free silver. I don't know what I'm doing here. I just found you by accident.
They
Live
left
stream.
already.
They were
Those guys
scrolling.
left.
It was in the thread. It was in the thread, Callum. Anyway, all right. So but I mentioned this
I'm almost done.
earlier, and we're gonna, yeah, look, we're almost done, sweetie, Miss Surfer. We're almost done. I'll release him to your cutscene in about 20 minutes. I promise. I'm holding him hostage, like Mel Gibson. Give me back my son. All right, here we go. The question is, uh, the BRICS nations. I'm gonna choose the seventh person who picks this. Seventh person down.
One
And the
one one guess. So wait
one guess
until you
only.
hear the whole question.
One guess only. Sorry, I haven't. And wait till I say go. Wait till I say go. Um, in the BRICS nation, what does the letter B stand for? Go. I'll give you a clue. Blanca from Street Fighter was from there.
Ooh.
Blanca from Street Fighter was there. What does the B in BRICS stand for? Go. The seventh person will win this.
People are gonna wait now to put their headsets in.
You're like, oh,
It,
wait a
it-
minute. Wait a minute.
it's
Google
it's
this.
a hard
It's
it's a hard
coming.
one, guys, because
It's a hard one.
we're picking the seventh. You can only do it once, right? And so it's funny
It's
because the
a
feeds
it's
always wait a little bit.
again. I'm challenging the knowledge of the community, and if they don't know it, that's fine. Hey, you learn something here.
Okay,
You
so
learn
here's what I've
something.
got, Sean. I've got Richie Crash is number one.
Okay.
Huge Bags is number two. Paul
Okay.
Fave is number three.
Okay.
Fremont House is four. Greg Olson's five. Shane O'Donnell is six. And James Dean. James Dean.
Jimmy Dean.
Heard that name before.
Isn't that his
Um,
father's company?
and Azure Blue's in the chat. I haven't seen you in a while, Azure Blue. You were so
Hey,
close.
Mr. Blue, what's up, buddy? It's a good dude.
So, so I'll just show you
Jimmy
guys real
Dean
quick. So
Jimmy
these are my
Dean saw this
newest
link.
additions. You got the Tim round with
Brazil.
Yankees
Dun, 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 dun.
AOK on the back, and then Silver Heist
Dum, dum,
donated this
dum,
to the
dum, dum, dum.
stack. It's the Mayflower. So I got a video coming out on the Mayflower pretty soon that'll be fun. Um, at least I'll try to make it as fun as I can. It's always hard when you're with someone else. And he had his wife with him too. So I couldn't just completely do a whole video there. We were just taking some shots of different things, and then I'll kind of turn it into another video. Maybe I'll do some shots at the beach tomorrow. But I want to thank you guys for coming out. One of the things I'll just throw out for all of you is couple things. One, you're not seeing very many channels do auctions anymore because it's not profitable. When people do auctions on YouTube, they make money, and they make a lot of money from it. The reason they're shutting down is because it's not profitable. And it's not that they're trying to take advantage of you guys. It's shipping is like a personal hell for me,
Yeah,
shipping all this stuff out. Um, I would love to give two things. One, I would love to give more ounces out, but shipping an ounce is a pain in the butt compared to shipping out a quarter. You can send it in a regular envelope. It's so much easier. But you're not seeing the auctions right now because there's not enough people buying from the auctions. So I've seen Stormy shut his down. I have seen Guido Stacking shut his down. I've seen Silver Dragon shut his down. Most of the things you're seeing out there aren't auctions; they're duck races. It's gambling.
Kentucky.
It's where you put in $6 to potentially win a round of silver. It's gambling because you don't get anything in return for it. So whatever. Do if you like to do that stuff, you can do that, and you can win some great stuff. You're probably better off not doing that and just saving up and buying your own ounce over time.
Yeah,
Um, there's no way for you to use skill to make more money from it, right? It's not even poker.
it's
Poker,
not
at
a
least
prop.
you can
Yeah,
you have a
poker
little
I
bit of a
know
chance
about.
to ramp it up.
Yeah, poker
So
I know all about.
we're not seeing a lot of those. Most of them have moved over to Whatnot. Um, I don't do Whatnot for two reasons. One, I don't have I don't have someone that can ship all the stuff for me, and I literally don't have the time. I don't have the time to send it, and they require you to send it in 2 days. I just couldn't do that. But you can find great deals on silver at Whatnot, guys. If you go and find the right stream, there's a lot of people getting started with it. And the way Whatnot really pushes people to do the auctions is to do them quickly, and they just give you a short period of time. I've picked up gold and silver on Whatnot below spot, and sometimes I pick it up right at spot or a little bit above it, but way below buying it from like any of the bullion dealers online. You have to be careful though, because you go to hit that next little thing. If you don't do it at the right time, you could overpay for things because it ramps up fast. The other issue I run into with Whatnot, and it's a reason I don't really like it as much, is here in California, you have to pay 7.8% sales tax, and they don't add up everything you buy in a given night. Even if it's from the same person, every transaction is a separate one.
Yeah,
So I have to pay 7.5% tax, even if I buy $5,000 of stuff from someone. Well, 2000 is the mark. If I go over 2000, I don't pay tax. I don't like that. Same with eBay. I don't buy from eBay very much unless it's something that's over $2,000 because they charge me the sales tax. And you guys, there's not a lot of room in these metals, right? If you're paying 7.5% in sales tax, you're like blowing yourself out with a much higher premium.
yeah.
So, especially on gold. So know that. Be careful on that. You get hit with a shipping charge on every item you buy. Those are the things you just need to be careful on and know. But you can get some good deals there. I couldn't figure out how to make any money from it personally because um, I'm not buying I'm not buying a lot of silver at 5%, 10% back a spot, and then being able to sell it at spot price. So I just don't have it. Um, but you guys may know some great channels to put in there. I don't blame anybody for going on there. I've done a lot of it. It's pretty good. Am I going to move to the East Coast? I don't know. Um,
Come to
uh,
our side of the world.
What I'll tell you is I'm in one of the most conservative cities in the entire country, more conservative than most states, and it's a bubble. It's really hard. Like
You
most
guys are
people
definitely in
complain
a
about
bubble.
California, I live in a bubble. And so this is a wonderful bubble as long as you have the income to support it. Once you don't have the income to support it, people get out and they leave. But when you hear people that leave California and they're complaining and all this stuff, it's because they live in a very liberal city that has a lot of crime and things like that. There's no crime here. My garage door has been left open a few times, and um, doors on the cars have been open with purses in them. Nothing's ever happened. And not to say that there's not crime in the city, but um, compared to other parts around us, this is a very
Yeah,
safe area. So it's hard when you live in a bubble. And I live 10, well, I live pretty close to the beach, and I can go surfing. It's one of the best surfing areas. Um, and everything you need is here. So it's hard to leave this. However, what I don't have is I don't have a bunch of land where I can grow food or have animals. And so without being able to have that, there's this situation where if we do get into dire straits, I'm going to have to dig up my grass. And I do have heirloom seeds. I will plant them. But it's just not. It's not big. It's pretty tight. So the other thing is cost. I would, if I go out to the East Coast, I can buy a house for a third the price of the house I'm in here, and be pretty happy in it. And that frees up, more things to do. And I was hoping to maybe do that a year ago before prices jumped on metals. And so my wanting to move across the country becomes a little bit more problematic as the price of gold and silver skyrockets up, because I don't really get that big of an advantage of doing it. Um, so at some point maybe we'll rent out our house and keep it here. So I don't know. We're looking at it. My biggest issue right now is with my job. Almost everything I do is on the East Coast. So it's nice to be done and work East Coast time. But if you have a late night and you've got to be up at the next morning at 6 in the morning to work, it kind of sucks. And then anytime I travel and go over, it's tough for me. I do have health issues, having to deal with that. Okay, so let's do one last ask while we've got 39 people on here still. I have an opportunity to have channel rounds created,
that's cool.
and I don't have a picture in front of me, and I don't think I can show one here. Well, that's a highlight. Yeah. Um, I'll put them on my channel maybe tonight for you guys to look at them to kind of get some ideas on them. But I could create some channel rounds. If I create a crazy amount of them, I can get the price really far down.
Like how many?
Um, Way too many.
Because
So I'd have to.
I might be able to put you in contact with somebody that where you might not need to make so many.
That could be good too. So
We can talk offline.
so it's all economy of scales, right? If I go and make an insane amount of them, I can get
Yeah,
the price
obviously,
down to
yeah.
where it's like
Mhm.
a silver round, right? Um, and I mean making a lot more than these guys made. Okay, a lot
Yeah,
more than these guys. Silver, silver. So I wouldn't be freaked out to take a good chunk of my silver stash or stack and convert it into my own rounds. That'd be kind of crazy.
that would be pretty
But
cool though.
I'm curious. Put a one in if you guys would have interest in buying them. So
No, I'll just put one
I
here.
actually put it like this. Do it like this. So stop for a second. So if I make a lot of them, I can get it down to about the price of a silver round. If I don't make as many of them, it's going to be about the price of a silver eagle. And if I make just a small number of them, like a hundred or 200 of them, it's going to be more like a uh, one of these semi-numismatic coins where I don't even know what those are going for right now. If an eagle's going for 51 to 52 bucks, you're probably looking at like $62. It's like a $10 premium over an eagle.
Mhm.
So number one would be you have interest, but you would only be willing to pay the price of a round. Number two would be that you have interest, you're willing to pay the price of an eagle. Three would be even
I
if you
don't
make a
care.
small
Just give me
amount of them,
one.
I don't even
Just
care. I just need a
just
stack
give
and
me one.
surfer round.
Just all threes.
So
I want it.
throw those in the chat. I'm curious to see what you guys say on there. I'll describe the design to you. It would have the Constitution on the back of it, and it would say "We the People." um, at least on one of them. That's probably what I would start off with. We may date it. Um, if there's enough interest from people, I might date these. That way we can change the die on the date each year and make some more of them. But that's going to be a little bit of a higher cost. Um, and it'll say stacking surf. It'll be 3 nines fine. And on the front of it, it's going to be a guy riding a wave probably bigger than I've ever ridden, but that makes it cooler. So think of someone riding like the Mavericks up in San Jose. No, well, not San Jose, Santa Cruz. Like a 50-foot wave, but it's a 50-foot silver wave. Okay. And maybe you guys will even have some other things that would be cool to say on there, but I can tell you there's no other coin like it out there, or round that's out there that could be pretty cool. Um, we might even be able to do a bar, but I think a round, coin shape would be a little cooler. So I'm not looking to put my face on, and it makes sense that they put the face on for Tim because that's his identity with his channel or with Yankees channel. And then you're never going to get Yankees face. You have to go to the shop to see who Yankee is and what he looks like. All right, let's see what else you guys got on here. So,
Be kind of also
um,
cool to kind of put your logo on one of the front of the coins with the date on it, and then on the back of it have it like a beach, but like a big wave coming in, and they have like a couple coins like falling out of the waves. Yeah, that'd be
yeah,
pretty cool too.
I'll play around with a couple different design ideas on it. So real quick, and then my wife's going to kill me. So, um,
Sorry.
the reason the channel is stacking surfers, a couple reasons. One, I live in Southern California, and when you think of Southern California, you think of surf culture. Okay, that's one of the things. It could have been Mr. Palm Tree, but that just didn't, palm tree stacker. It didn't fit as well. Um, Number two, I do surf. I enjoy it. I don't get out as much as I want to. I did not grow up doing it. I started doing it when I moved here, about 9 years ago. I grew up here, guys. I had no idea how close I lived to the ocean. My parents never took me to the ocean. They didn't like it. And we like literally lived about 15 to 20 minutes away from the ocean and we never went. It really sucks. And it wasn't until junior high that I started going with a friend, and we would go boogie board or bodyboard, and I never even touched a surfboard until I was like 42 or 43. So I've learned how to do it, and it's awesome. It's one of the most fun things you can do. I do have a lot of health issues, so I'm usually I'm on a longboard, and I keep it pretty chill. And I wish I could do more, but an hour of surfing takes me out for an entire week, and I'm basically not able to go to the gym or do any other stuff. And if I go to the gym, I'm also taken out for a week. So I might look pretty healthy, but I've got a battle going on all the time with stuff, and inflammation and just fatigue and stuff hits me hard. I'm not even sure how I do my job half the time. But surfing's awesome. I love it. There's nothing like standing on the board and having the wave just really push you. And you can still have a lot of fun on a longboard. So I love surfing. The third reason, and probably the most important one, is I believe that we are going to have the largest typhoon, tsunami, tidal wave, whatever you want to call it, of gold and silver coming. And so, when we talk about like $8,000 to $12,000 gold, that's not the biggest gold and silver tsunami that's ever come. Okay, that's just like a small one. That's like the smallest of the last 100 years, as far as percentage appreciation. And I think most people are counting somewhere between 1,500 and 20 in 2000 is kind of the taking off point for this gold bull run. I would kind of put it at about 2000. I'm talking about it could be way bigger. We could be looking back in 5 to 10 years from now, going, I wish I could buy gold under 50,000. I just don't know where we're going to get to. Um, it could be way higher. So that's the other reason I put it in there. So as I put some of these channel round ideas out there, kind of let me know what you guys think about them. But that's basically what the whole theme is. It's not supposed to be like some people will come in and they're expecting me to be a pro surfer. If I was a pro surfer, I'd be doing a surfer channel. Um, and I wouldn't be making very many videos because I would have someone filming me the whole time while I'm doing it, and that would be awesome. There's a lot of pro surfers around here, which is great. Okay, so we had a lot of ones. We had some twos in there. I didn't see any three. Well, maybe one three. So um, I think it's something I'm definitely going to look at. Um, Someone put a message in for review. I don't know. I haven't had that for a while.
What's that mean?
So, probably swear words or something bad in there.
Did I say
Um,
something inappropriate? I might have. Maybe see they. I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember. I apologize. Don't try to cancel us. Don't be that guy or gal.
so if I
Nothing you haven't heard on HBO or anything else at all.
yeah,
You
probably
paid
not, but
for.
it's something
Anyway, go
YouTube
ahead.
blocked. Something YouTube blocked, so here, I can view it, let's see.
Yeah. What did I say?
Oh, it says put your wife on it, that's not that bad.
Put
Yeah,
your wife on what?
she's not gonna put her face on the coin, though, but she's pretty. I met her
I
when we were
yeah.
16, I've known her for a long time. Um, alright, do I need to put up silver for the coin? No, yeah, I mean, you're when you go to create these coins, there's already
Proof of
planchets that are
profit.
created. They're already there. So you're
Yeah.
just buying X amount of planchets. Where the cost comes into play is it's making the die.
Yeah.
So the die is going to run a lot of money, and if you only make like one coin with the die, you have to that coin's going to be like a um
Two
I'd have to
thousand
look,
dollar
yeah,
coin.
like $1,000 coin basically, right? And so the more coins you make, the lower that price gets. And so there's a couple ways around that is you just make 100 of them and you just know that they're going to sell for, I lose $3 each coin, but it's a cool coin to get out. And I want to get it out to everybody. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to try to break even on them. And you've got a little bit more of them, but you might be holding on to them for a few years. And then the other way to go is you make a crazy amount of them, and you try to get it out there as just a round people can have. So we'll play around with the numbers, and we'll look at a couple different ones.
I think people would like it. I think people would buy into it. I think
Yeah,
it could be a well venture for you, and we can talk about seeing what you need, and I'll talk to my
yeah.
guys and see what we can do.
So that'd be great. All right, I got to cruise, guys. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you
Hopefully this
all.
was fun. I've been trying to get something out for a little bit. A couple videos coming soon, so look out for those. And we'll have Sean back on again and hit platinum. If it hits 2,000, I'm gonna just make him come back on too. So as we get
Going to
closer, we'll let you
2K.
guys know. All right,
Going to
talk to you soon.
2K.
Going to 2K.